What if I told you that everything you've been taught about building wealth is a lie? What if the reason 99% of people will work until they die isn't because they're lazy or unlucky, but because they've been programmed with a financial operating system designed to keep them broke? Right now, as you're listening to this, there are people your age, with your background, maybe even with less money than you have today, who are building wealth so fast it would make your head spin. They're not smarter than you. They don't have secret connections you don't have. They simply understand something about money that you've never been taught. Here's a number that will shock you. The average person will earn $2.3 million during their lifetime. That's enough to build serious wealth. Yet 64% of Americans can't afford a $400 emergency. Something is brutally wrong with this picture. But here's what's even more disturbing. If you take the most common financial advice, save 10% of your income and invest it in index funds returning 7% annually, and you start at age 25, you'll have about $1.2 million at retirement. Sounds good, right? Wrong. That's barely enough to maintain your current lifestyle in retirement, and that's if nothing goes wrong for 40 years. While you're following this mediocre plan, there are people building $10 million, $50 million, even $100 million in net worth in the same time frame. They're not working harder than you. They're thinking differently than you. Stop right here and ask yourself this brutal question. If your current financial strategy continues for the next 20 years, where will you be? Are you building wealth, or are you just working to pay bills until you die? If that question makes you uncomfortable, good. Discomfort is the beginning of change, and change is exactly what we're going to create in your financial life over the next hour. You're about to learn the wealth building system that separates the top 1% from everyone else. But I need to warn you, once you understand how money really works, you'll never think the same way again. You'll realize that every month you've been following conventional financial advice, you've been losing thousands, maybe tens of thousands of dollars in future wealth. Chapter 1. The Wealth Delusion. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah is 35 years old, makes $75,000 a year, and considers herself financially responsible. She saves 15% of her income, has a 401k, and reads financial books. Sarah thinks she's on track for a comfortable retirement. Sarah is delusional. Here's the brutal math. At her current pace, Sarah will have about $1.4 million at age 65. Sounds impressive until you realize that inflation will make that worth about $700,000 in today's purchasing power. She'll be able to withdraw about $28,000 per year without touching the principal. That's $2,300 per month. Try living on $2,300 a month when you're 65. But here's what Sarah doesn't know. While she's proudly saving her way to poverty, there's another woman, let's call her Michelle, who started with the same $75,000 salary but learned to think like the wealthy. Michelle understood that saving money is the slowest way to build wealth. Instead, she focused on making her money work for her. Michelle bought her first rental property with a $15,000 down payment at age 25. That property generated $300 monthly cash flow. She reinvested that cash flow and her savings into more properties. By age 35, Michelle owned 8 rental properties, generating $2,400 monthly passive income. Her net worth? $1.2 million at age 35, not 65. The difference between Sarah and Michelle isn't luck, intelligence, or even starting capital. It's understanding the difference between working for money and making money work for you. Most people, like Sarah, are trapped in what I call the 3 financial lies. These lies are so deeply embedded in our culture that questioning them feels like financial heresy. But questioning them is exactly what we're going to do right now. Financial lie number 1. Save your way to wealth. This is the biggest lie ever told about money. Here's the truth. You cannot save your way to wealth in a world with inflation. When you put money in a savings account, earning 1% interest while inflation runs at 3%, you're losing 2% of your purchasing power every year. You're not saving money. You're slowly going broke. Let me give you the numbers that will make this crystal clear. If you save $500 per month for 30 years in a savings account earning 1% interest, you'll have about $186,000. But because of inflation, that money will only buy what $77,000 buys today. You worked for 30 years to lose half your money. But here's what the wealthy know that you don't. Money sitting in a bank account is not an asset. It's a depreciating liability. The moment you deposit money into a savings account, you start losing money to inflation and opportunity cost. The wealthy don't save money, they deploy money. Every dollar they control is working to generate more dollars. They understand that in the modern economy, cash is trash unless it's moving toward cash flow or appreciation. Stop saving money and start deploying money. I don't care if you only have $100. That $100 needs to work for you, not sit in a bank account, slowly losing value. But wait, you're probably thinking, I need my emergency fund. What if something happens? That's the broke person's mindset talking. The wealthy don't have emergency funds. They have cash flowing assets that can be liquidated if needed. Instead of $10,000 sitting in a savings account, they might own $10,000 worth of dividend-paying stocks that generate monthly income. Financial lie number 2. Work harder for more money. This lie keeps more people broke than any other financial misconception. The belief that the path to wealth is working more hours, getting more education, or climbing the corporate ladder is fundamentally flawed. Here's why this thinking is financially devastating. When you trade time for money, your income is capped by the number of hours you can work. There are only 24 hours in a day, and you can't work all of them. Even if you're a brain surgeon making $500 per hour, you're still trapped in the time for money prison. The wealthy understand leverage. They don't work harder, they work smarter, they build systems, hire people, and create investments that generate money without their direct time input. Let me show you the difference with real numbers. John works 60 hours a week at his job and makes $80,000 per year. He's trading roughly 3,000 hours annually for his income. That's $26.67 per hour for every hour of his life. Meanwhile, Michael owns a small business that generates $80,000 in profit annually, but he only works 20 hours per week in the business because he's built systems and hired people. Michael is generating $76.92 per hour of actual work. But here's where it gets really interesting. Michael's business is an asset that can be sold. When he decides to retire, he can sell his business for 3 to 5 times annual profit, giving him $240,000 to $400,000. John's job disappears the moment he stops working. The wealthy think in terms of building assets, not trading time. Every hour they work should either be building an asset or managing assets that generate income without their presence. If you're currently trading time for money, you need to immediately start planning your exit strategy. Begin building something that generates income without your direct time input. It could be a business, rental properties, dividend stocks, or royalties. But it needs to generate cash flow without consuming your time. Financial lie number 3. Investing is risky. This lie is particularly dangerous because it keeps people in the safety of savings accounts while inflation slowly destroys their wealth. The truth is, not investing is the riskiest financial strategy of all. Let me prove this with mathematics. If you keep $100,000 in a savings account for 20 years with 2% annual inflation, your money will only buy what $67,000 buys today. You, safely, lost $33,000 of purchasing power. Meanwhile, if you invested that same $100,000 in the stock market with an average return of 10% annually, you'd have about $673,000 after 20 years. Even accounting for inflation, that's real wealth creation. But what about market crashes, you ask? Here's what the wealthy understand about market volatility. Market crashes are buying opportunities, not disasters. When markets crash, assets go on sale. The wealthy buy more, while the poor sell in panic. Warren Buffett made billions by understanding this principle. His famous quote, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful." Every market crash in history has been followed by recovery and new highs. Every single one. The real risk isn't market volatility, it's inflation risk and opportunity cost risk. By keeping money in safe investments, you guarantee that you'll lose purchasing power over time. But here's the crucial distinction the wealthy make. They don't invest in things they don't understand. They educate themselves about investments before putting money at risk. The problem isn't that investing is risky. The problem is that most people invest ignorantly. You need to stop thinking of investing as gambling and start thinking of it as business ownership. When you buy stocks, you're buying pieces of businesses. When you buy real estate, you're buying income-producing assets. When you buy bonds, you're lending money for interest payments. The wealthy don't avoid risk. They manage and calculate risk. They understand that the biggest risk is not taking enough risk to build real wealth. Now let me show you the real difference between how broke people think and how wealthy people think about money. This mindset shift alone is worth millions of dollars over your lifetime. When broke people see a $500 expense, they think, "I can't afford this." When wealthy people see a $500 expense, they think, "How can I afford this?" The difference is profound. Broke people focus on the cost. Wealthy people focus on the value and the method of acquisition. If a wealthy person wants something that costs $500, they don't automatically reach into their savings. They ask, "How can I generate an extra $500 in cash flow to afford this without touching my assets?" This thinking leads to income generation rather than asset depletion. Instead of spending money, they figure out how to make money. This mindset compound over time creates massive wealth differences. Broke people say, "I can't afford to invest." Wealthy people say, "I can't afford not to invest." See the difference? One mindset focuses on limitations. The other focuses on solutions and opportunities. Broke people think about monthly payments. Wealthy people think about total cost and cash flow. When a broke person buys a car, they ask, "What's the monthly payment?" When a wealthy person buys a car, they ask, "What's the total cost, including opportunity cost of the money?" Let me give you a concrete example. You want to buy a $30,000 car. The broke person thinks, "I can afford $500 per month?" The wealthy person thinks, "If I invest this $30,000 at 10% annual returns instead of buying the car, I'll have $77,000 in 10 years. This car is actually costing me $77,000. This is called opportunity cost thinking, and it's how the wealthy make every financial decision. They don't just consider the immediate cost, they consider what else that money could do if deployed differently. Broke people buy liabilities and call them assets. Wealthy people buy assets that generate cash flow. Your house is not an asset unless it generates more money than it costs you. Your car is definitely not an asset unless you're using it to generate income. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. It's that simple. Yet most people spend their lives accumulating liabilities while thinking they're building wealth. Here's the wealth building hierarchy that 99% of people get backwards. Level 1, broke people buy stuff. Level 2, middle class people buy liabilities they think are assets. Level 3, wealthy people buy assets that generate cash flow. Level 4, ultra wealthy people buy assets that buy other assets. Most people never get past level 2. They buy a house, car, and fill it with stuff, thinking they're building wealth. Meanwhile, their monthly expenses are consuming all their income, leaving nothing for real wealth building. The wealthy operate at levels 3 and 4. They buy assets that generate monthly cash flow, then use that cash flow to buy more assets. This creates a compounding effect that accelerates wealth building exponentially. But here's what's even more powerful than changing your mindset about money. You need to understand the mathematical principles that create wealth faster than 99% of people even know is possible. The secret isn't just compound interest. That's basic level thinking. The real secret is compound leverage combined with geometric progression. Let me show you how this works. Most people understand basic compound interest. You invest $1,000, it grows to $1,100 with 10% interest. Then the $1,100 grows to $1,210, and so on. This is linear compound growth. But the wealthy use compound leverage. They don't just invest their own money. They use other people's money to multiply their returns. Here's how this changes everything. Instead of buying a $100,000 rental property with $100,000 cash, they put down $20,000 and finance $80,000. If the property appreciates 5% annually, they make $5,000 on their $20,000 investment, not their $100,000 investment. That's a 25% return on their actual cash invested, not 5%. But it gets even better. The tenant pays the mortgage, so the wealthy person is building equity with other people's money while generating cash flow. This is leverage, and it's how real wealth is built. The poor avoid debt because they use it to buy liabilities. The wealthy embrace debt because they use it to buy assets. Good debt makes you money. Bad debt costs you money. Learn the difference, and your financial life will never be the same. Now let me show you the compound disaster that's happening to your wealth right now, and why every month you delay implementing these principles is costing you more money than you realize. If you start investing $500 per month at age 25 with 10% annual returns, you'll have $1.6 million at age 65. Start the same plan at age 35 and you'll have $610,000. Wait until 45 and you'll have only $227,000. Those 10 years from 25 to 35 cost you nearly $1 million in final wealth. Those aren't just 10 years. They're the most valuable 10 years because compound growth is exponential, not linear. But here's what's even more devastating. Every month you delay is costing you approximately $3,700 in future wealth. Every month. That means while you're thinking about starting, considering your options, and waiting for the right time, you're literally burning money. The right time was 10 years ago. The second best time is right now, today, this moment. Not next month. Not when you get your tax refund. Not when you pay off your credit cards. Now, time is the most valuable ingredient in wealth building, and it's the one thing you can never get back. You can always make more money, but you can never make more time. Stop waiting. Stop making excuses. Stop telling yourself you'll start when you have more money. Start with whatever you have right now, even if it's just $25. The habits and systems you build are more valuable than the initial amount you invest. But before you can build real wealth, you need to understand how the top 1% actually operate. Their wealth building system is completely different from what you've been taught, and it's exactly what we're going to cover next. The 1% don't just think differently about money. They operate with a completely different financial system. While 99% of people are playing checkers, the wealthy are playing 3D chess. They're not just making different moves, they're playing an entirely different game. Chapter 2. The 1% Wealth Operating System. Everything you've learned about building wealth is designed for average people to achieve average results. The problem is, average results in wealth building mean working until you die. The top 1% use a completely different operating system, and once you understand it, you'll realize why conventional financial advice keeps people broke. The first principle of the 1% wealth operating system is leverage, but not the kind of leverage you think you understand. Most people think leverage means borrowing money to buy things. That's amateur hour. Real leverage means multiplying your results without multiplying your effort. There are 4 types of leverage that the wealthy use to build wealth faster than everyone else. Leverage type 1. People leverage. The wealthy understand that their time is their most valuable asset, so they never do anything that someone else can do cheaper. If you make $50 per hour at your job, but you spend Saturday afternoon mowing your lawn, you just worked for $15 per hour. The wealthy would pay someone $30 to mow their lawn and spend those 2 hours on activities that generate $100 plus per hour. But people leverage goes far beyond hiring a landscaper. The wealthy build teams of people who multiply their capabilities. They have assistants who manage their schedules, accountants who optimize their taxes, property managers who handle their real estate, and fund managers who grow their investments. Each person on their team allows them to focus on higher leverage activities. While you're spending weekend time managing your rental property, the wealthy person is analyzing their next acquisition because they have a property management company handling the day-to-day operations. Here's your first implementation step. Calculate your effective hourly rate from your primary income source. Then audit how you spend your time. Any activity you're doing that could be hired out for less than your hourly rate is costing you money. Stop doing those activities and hire others to do them. Leverage type 2. Capital leverage. This is what most people think of when they hear leverage, but they completely misunderstand how to use it properly. Capital leverage means using other people's money to multiply your investment capacity. The poor are afraid of debt. The middle class uses debt to buy liabilities. The wealthy use debt to buy assets. The difference is everything. When you use a mortgage to buy a rental property, you're using the bank's money to control an asset that someone else, your tenant, pays for. You put down $20,000, the bank provides $80,000, and your tenant pays the mortgage while you build equity and collect cash flow. If that property appreciates 5% annually, you make $5,000 per year on your $20,000 investment, which is a 25% return. Without leverage, you'd need $100,000 to make the same $5,000, giving you only a 5% return. But here's where capital leverage becomes truly powerful. You can repeat this process multiple times. Instead of saving up $100,000 to buy one property with cash, you can use that same $100,000 as down payments on 5 properties worth $500,000 total. The wealthy understand that cash sitting in assets that don't use leverage is lazy money. Every dollar should be working as hard as possible to generate returns. Leverage type 3. Systems leverage. This is the most overlooked form of leverage, and it's the difference between building wealth and building a second job. Systems leverage means creating processes that generate money without your direct involvement. The poor work in their investments. The wealthy work on their investments. If you own rental properties but you're the one collecting rent, handling maintenance calls, and dealing with tenant issues, you don't own an investment, you own a job. The wealthy create systems that run without them. They use property management companies, automated rent collection, maintenance networks, and tenant screening processes. They might own 50 rental units, but spend less time managing them than most people spend managing one property. This applies to every form of wealth building. If you're actively day trading stocks, you're working a job, not building wealth. If you own a business, but it can't run without you, you own a job, not an asset. Real wealth comes from building systems that generate money while you sleep. If your wealth building strategy requires your constant attention, you're not building wealth, you're building a high-paying prison. Leverage type 4, knowledge leverage. This is the ultimate form of leverage because knowledge compounds without limits. The wealthy invest heavily in their financial education because every piece of knowledge they gain can be applied to all their money for the rest of their lives. If you learn a tax strategy that saves you 5% annually and you apply that to $100,000, you save $5,000 per year. But as your wealth grows to $1 million, that same knowledge saves you $50,000 per year. The knowledge scales with your wealth. The wealthy spend 10 to 20% of their income on education, coaching, and knowledge acquisition. They buy courses, hire mentors, attend seminars, and join mastermind groups. The poor think this is an expense. The wealthy know it's the highest return investment they can make. But here's the key. They don't just consume information, they implement immediately. Knowledge without action is worthless. Every piece of financial education should result in specific changes to your wealth building strategy. Your minimum standard should be spending 1% of your income annually on financial education. If you make $50,000, spend at least $500 per year learning how to build wealth. If you make $100,000, spend at least $1,000. This investment will return hundreds of times its cost over your lifetime. Now that you understand the 4 types of leverage, let me show you the second principle of the 1% wealth operating system, the critical distinction between income and wealth. Most people think having a high income means they're wealthy. This is completely wrong and financially dangerous. Income is what you earn. Wealth is what you keep and what works for you. I know doctors making $400,000 per year who are broke. I know small business owners making $80,000 per year who are millionaires. The difference isn't the income, it's what they do with the income. High-income earners often fall into the lifestyle inflation trap. As their income increases, their expenses increase proportionally. They buy bigger houses, more expensive cars, and higher maintenance lifestyles. Their income goes up, but their wealth doesn't. Meanwhile, the wealth builders maintain modest lifestyles regardless of their income level. They understand that every dollar spent on lifestyle is a dollar that can't be invested in wealth-building assets. Here's the brutal truth. If you can't maintain your current lifestyle on 50% of your income, you're financially fragile. You might have high income, but you don't have wealth security. The wealthy follow what I call the 50-30-20 rule, but not the version you've heard. 50% of their income goes to lifestyle and necessities. 30% goes to wealth-building investments. 20% goes to cash flow generating assets. Notice that 50% goes to wealth building in some form. The poor save 5 to 10% and think they're doing well. The wealthy deploy 50% of their income toward wealth building and consider anything less financial negligence. But here's what's even more important than the percentages. The wealthy think in terms of assets and liabilities, not income and expenses. An asset puts money in your pocket every month. A liability takes money out of your pocket every month. Your house is not an asset unless the rental income exceeds all expenses. Your car is definitely not an asset unless you're using it to generate income. Most people spend their lives accumulating liabilities while thinking they're building wealth. They buy houses, cars, boats, and furniture, then wonder why they never have money for investments. The wealthy do the opposite. They buy assets first, then use the cash flow from those assets to buy lifestyle items. If a wealthy person wants a $50,000 car, they don't just write a check. They buy enough assets to generate $50,000 in annual cash flow, then buy the car with the cash flow. This way, the car doesn't reduce their wealth, it's purchased with the income from their wealth. The assets continue generating money while they enjoy the lifestyle upgrade. This brings us to the third principle of the 1% wealth operating system, cash flow velocity. Most people think about money as something to save and spend. The wealthy think about money as something that should constantly be in motion, generating returns. Every dollar the wealthy control is either generating cash flow, appreciating in value, or being deployed to acquire assets that do both. Money sitting in checking accounts or low-yield savings is considered lazy money. The velocity principle means that the same dollar should generate multiple returns. For example, the wealthy might use a bank loan to buy a rental property. The property generates rental income that pays the loan and provides cash flow. The property also appreciates over time. Meanwhile, they use the tax depreciation to reduce taxes on their other income. That's $1 working in 4 different ways: loan principal paydown, cash flow, appreciation, and tax savings. The poor put that same dollar in a savings account and get one return: minimal interest. But velocity gets even more powerful when you understand the reinvestment multiplier. The wealthy never spend investment returns on lifestyle. They reinvest every dollar of return to generate even more returns. If a wealthy person makes $10,000 from their investments this year, that $10,000 immediately gets deployed into more investments. This creates compound acceleration that builds wealth exponentially rather than linearly. The poor make $10,000 from investments and spend it on vacation or lifestyle upgrades. They interrupt the compound process and reset their wealth building to zero. Here's a specific example of how this plays out over time. 2 people each invest $50,000 in assets, generating 10% annual returns. Person A spends the $5,000 annual return on lifestyle. Person B reinvests the returns. After 20 years, Person A still has $50,000 in assets, plus they enjoyed $100,000 in lifestyle spending. Person B has $336,000 in assets. The difference? $186,000 in final wealth, all because of the reinvestment decision. But the real difference is what happens next. Person A's assets still generate $5,000 annually. Person B's assets now generate $33,600 annually. Person B can now afford 6.7 times more lifestyle than Person A. Plus, their wealth continues growing. This is why the wealthy get richer faster over time. Their wealth building accelerates while everyone else's stays linear. The 4th principle of the 1% wealth operating system is geographic and currency arbitrage. While most people build wealth within their local economy, the wealthy think globally. They understand that different countries offer different opportunities for wealth acceleration, tax optimization, and cost arbitrage. For example, the wealthy might earn income in high-income countries but invest in emerging markets with higher growth potential. They might establish tax residence in low-tax jurisdictions while maintaining business operations in high-opportunity markets. This isn't about hiding money or avoiding taxes illegally. It's about optimizing your global financial position within legal frameworks. Many countries offer legitimate tax incentives for foreign investment or residency. The wealthy also understand currency arbitrage. They might borrow money in currencies with low interest rates and invest in currencies with higher yields or in assets that appreciate faster than currency devaluation. Even if you're not ready for international strategies, you can apply this principle domestically. Real estate prices vary dramatically between markets. A wealthy person might live in an expensive city for career opportunities, but own rental properties in more affordable markets with better cash flow ratios. The key is thinking beyond your immediate geographic area when building wealth. The best opportunities might not be where you live. Now let me show you how these principles combine to create wealth acceleration that 99% of people don't even know is possible. We're talking about mathematical wealth creation that compounds so fast, it seems almost unfair. The secret is what I call compound acceleration through systematic reinvestment. It's not just compound interest, it's compound everything: income, assets, leverage, and knowledge. Here's how it works in practice. You start by buying one cash-flowing asset using leverage. That asset generates cash flow that you reinvest into a second asset. Now you have two assets generating cash flow that you reinvest into a third asset. But here's where it gets interesting. As your portfolio grows, your borrowing capacity increases because banks lend based on assets and income. Your growing portfolio qualifies you for larger loans at better terms. By year 5, you might be able to acquire multiple assets per year instead of one. By year 10, you might be acquiring assets every month. The acceleration becomes exponential rather than linear. This is how people go from zero to millions in 10 to 15 years, while others work 40 years and never build significant wealth. It's not about earning more money, it's about deploying money more intelligently. But before you can implement any of these strategies, you need to understand the mathematical formula that creates wealth faster than 99% of people. And that's exactly what we're covering next, because once you see these numbers, you'll never think about money the same way again. Chapter 3. The Compound Acceleration Formula. Einstein allegedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world, saying, "He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it." But Einstein never saw what's possible with modern wealth-building strategies. What I'm about to show you makes basic compound interest look like a child's piggy bank. Most people understand compound interest at the kindergarten level. You put money in an account, it grows, then the growth grows. But that's linear thinking in an exponential world. The wealthy don't just use compound interest, they use compound acceleration across multiple vectors simultaneously. Let me show you the difference with numbers that will change how you think about money forever. Traditional compound interest. You invest $10,000 at 7% annually. After 30 years, you have $76,123. That's decent growth, but it's also pathetically slow for building real wealth. Now watch what happens when you apply compound acceleration. Instead of investing $10,000 once, you invest $10,000 and add $500 monthly. But here's the key. Every year, you increase your monthly contribution by 10% to account for income growth and inflation. After 30 years, you don't have $76,123. You have $1,427,892. But we're still thinking too small. The wealthy don't just compound their contributions. They compound their return rates through strategic asset selection and leverage. Instead of accepting 7% returns, they target 12% through real estate, business ownership, and strategic stock selection. With the same contribution schedule at 12% returns, you end up with $3,494,964 after 30 years. That's the difference between $76,123 and $3.5 million. Same starting amount, same time frame, completely different wealth outcome. The difference is understanding compound acceleration instead of basic compound interest. But here's where it gets really interesting. The ultra-wealthy don't stop at compound acceleration. They use geometric progression through reinvestment and leverage multiplication. Here's how geometric progression works. Instead of just reinvesting returns, you use those returns to qualify for larger investments with leverage. Each successful investment increases your capacity for the next investment. Year 1. You buy a $100,000 rental property with $20,000 down. It generates $6,000 annual cash flow. Year 2. You use that cash flow plus savings to buy a $150,000 property with $30,000 down. Now you have two properties generating $11,000 annually. Year 3. Your increased cash flow and property values allow you to buy a $200,000 property. Now you have three properties generating $18,000 annually. Notice how each year your capacity to acquire larger assets increases. This is geometric progression. Your wealth doesn't just compound, it accelerates its own compounding. By year 10, you might be acquiring multiple properties annually instead of one. By year 15, you might be acquiring entire apartment complexes. The progression becomes exponential. This is how people go from middle class to multimillionaire in 15 to 20 years, while others work 40 years and barely accumulate $500,000 in their 401k. But let me show you the specific numbers that prove why traditional investment advice keeps people poor. The conventional wisdom says, invest in index funds returning 7 to 10% annually. That's amateur hour. Let me show you what 15% annual returns do to your wealth building and how to achieve those returns legally and safely. A $500 monthly investment at 7% annual returns gives you $1.37 million after 30 years. The same investment at 15% annual returns gives you $6.8 million. That's not twice as much, it's 5 times as much. But here's the shocking part. 15% annual returns aren't unrealistic or risky. They're what smart real estate investors, business owners, and strategic stock investors achieve consistently. How do you get 15% returns? Simple. You stop thinking like an investor and start thinking like a business owner. When you buy rental real estate with leverage, you're not just getting appreciation and cash flow. You're getting loan principal paydown, tax benefits, and leverage multiplication. Add these together, and 15% total returns are conservative. Here's a real example. You buy a $200,000 rental property with $40,000 down. The property appreciates 4% annually, generates $1,500 monthly rent, and provides $3,000 in annual tax savings through depreciation. Annual appreciation, $8,000 annual cash flow after expenses, $6,000 annual principal paydown, $2,400 annual tax savings, $3,000. Total annual return, $19,400. That's a 48.5% return on your $40,000 investment. And this is conservative. Many real estate investors achieve much higher returns through value-add strategies, market timing, and advanced financing techniques. But real estate is just one path to 15% plus returns. Business ownership, when done correctly, can generate 25 to 50% annual returns. Strategic stock investing in undervalued companies can generate 20% plus returns. Even high-yield dividend strategies can generate 12 to 15% returns. The key is diversifying across multiple high-return strategies rather than settling for index fund mediocrity. But here's what's even more powerful than high returns: the reinvestment multiplier effect. Most people make the crucial mistake of spending their investment returns on lifestyle. They make $10,000 from their investments and spend it on vacations, cars, or home improvements. This completely destroys the compound acceleration process. The wealthy never spend investment returns on consumption. Every dollar of return immediately gets reinvested to generate even more returns. This creates what I call the reinvestment multiplier effect. Let me show you how powerful this is with specific numbers. 2 people each start with $50,000 invested at 12% annual returns. Person A spends the annual returns on lifestyle. After 20 years, they still have $50,000 in investments, but they enjoyed $120,000 in lifestyle spending. Person B reinvests all returns. After 20 years, they have $483,314 in investments. They can now generate $58,000 annually in returns, which is nearly half of the total lifestyle spending Person A enjoyed over 20 years. But Person B gets this amount every year going forward. The difference compounds over time. By year 30, Person A still has $50,000 generating $6,000 annually. Person B has $1.5 million generating $180,000 annually. Person B can now afford 30 times more lifestyle than Person A. Plus, their wealth continues growing exponentially. This is why the wealthy get richer faster over time, while everyone else stays stuck in financial mediocrity. But the reinvestment multiplier effect becomes truly powerful when combined with leverage cycling. Leverage cycling means using your growing asset base to qualify for larger and larger investments. As your net worth increases, banks will lend you more money at better terms. This allows you to acquire larger assets that generate more cash flow, which increases your net worth further, which qualifies you for even larger loans. It's a positive feedback loop that accelerates wealth building exponentially. Here's how it works in practice. Year 1. You have $100,000 net worth and qualify for a $400,000 investment property loan. Year 3. Your properties have appreciated and you've paid down debt. Your net worth is now $180,000. You qualify for a $600,000 loan. Year 5. Your net worth is $320,000. You qualify for a $1 million loan. Year 8. Your net worth is $650,000. You qualify for a $2 million loan. Notice how your investment capacity accelerates over time. This is how people go from small-time investors to major real estate moguls in 10 to 15 years. The same principle applies to business ownership. As your business grows and generates more cash flow, you can reinvest profits to grow faster, acquire competitors, or start additional businesses. But here's the crucial point that 99% of people miss. This acceleration only works if you reinvest everything and live below your means during the accumulation phase. If you start spending the cash flow on lifestyle upgrades, you break the acceleration cycle and reset your wealth building to linear growth. The wealthy understand that the accumulation phase requires delayed gratification, but the payoff is permanent financial freedom. Now let me show you the advanced strategies that separate millionaires from multimillionaires: geographic arbitrage and currency leverage. While most people build wealth within their local economy, the ultra-wealthy think globally. They understand that different countries and regions offer different opportunities for wealth acceleration. Geographic arbitrage means earning income in high-income areas while investing in lower-cost, higher-yield markets. For example, you might work in San Francisco where salaries are high, but own rental properties in Cleveland where property prices are low relative to rental income. This strategy allows you to maximize both your earning potential and your investment returns. The same $300,000 might buy one small condo in San Francisco that generates minimal cash flow, or 5 rental properties in Cleveland that generate substantial monthly income. The wealthy also use international geographic arbitrage. They might establish businesses in high-growth emerging markets while maintaining residence in countries with favorable tax treaties. Currency leverage takes this concept further. The wealthy understand that different currencies appreciate and depreciate at different rates, creating opportunities for wealth multiplication. For example, if you borrow money in a currency that's depreciating and invest in assets denominated in an appreciating currency, you benefit from both the investment returns and the currency exchange gains. This isn't speculation. It's strategic positioning based on economic fundamentals. Countries with strong economies, growing populations, and sound fiscal policies tend to have appreciating currencies over time. But even if international strategies seem too complex, you can apply these principles domestically. Real estate markets vary dramatically within the same country. Stock markets in different sectors perform differently. Commodity prices fluctuate based on global supply and demand. The key is diversifying not just across asset types, but across geographic regions, currencies, and economic sectors. This reduces risk while maximizing opportunities for acceleration. Now, here's the mathematical truth that will shock you. The difference between starting your wealth building today versus waiting 1 year isn't just 12 months of returns. Because of compound acceleration, waiting 1 year could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars in final wealth. Let me prove this with numbers that will make you want to start investing today. If you invest $1,000 monthly, starting at age 25 with 12% annual returns, you'll have $7.3 million at age 65. If you wait just 1 year and start at age 26, you'll have $6.4 million at age 65. That 1 year of delay cost you $900,000 in final wealth. 1 year equals nearly $1 million in opportunity cost. Wait 5 years and start at age 30? You'll have $4.2 million. Those 5 years cost you $3.1 million. Wait 10 years and start at age 35? You'll have $2.4 million. Those 10 years cost you $4.9 million. This is why every month you delay is financial negligence. You're not just missing this month's returns, you're missing decades of compound acceleration on this month's investment. The wealthy understand this mathematically. That's why they invest immediately when they identify opportunities, rather than waiting for perfect conditions. Perfect conditions never come, but compound time keeps running. Stop waiting for more money, more knowledge, or better market conditions. Start with whatever you have right now, even if it's just $100. The habits and systems you build are more valuable than the initial investment amount. But starting is just the beginning. Building sustainable wealth requires systems that automate your success and remove the possibility of failure. And that's exactly what we're covering next. Chapter 4. The Systems Revolution. Here's the brutal truth about wealth building that nobody wants to admit. Motivation is worthless. Discipline is unreliable. The only thing that creates consistent wealth building is systems that automate your success and make failure impossible. Most people approach wealth building like a diet. They get excited, make dramatic changes, work really hard for a few weeks, then slowly drift back to their old habits. 6 months later, they're exactly where they started, maybe even worse off. The wealthy don't rely on motivation or discipline. They build systems that guarantee wealth building happens automatically, regardless of how they feel on any given day. Let me show you the difference between hoping for wealth and systematically creating wealth. The hope-based approach. I'm going to save more money this year. I'll invest regularly and cut my expenses. This person relies on willpower and good intentions. They might succeed for a few months, but eventually life gets busy, motivation fades, and they stop following their plan. The systems-based approach. I'm going to automate $500 monthly transfers from my checking account to my investment account on the same day I get paid. I'm going to set up automatic investing in predetermined assets. I'm going to automate bill payments so my expenses are predictable and controlled. The systems-based person succeeds because they've removed the possibility of failure. They don't have to remember to invest, decide how much to invest, or choose what to invest in. It happens automatically. This is the first principle of wealth building systems. Automate everything that can be automated. Here's your complete wealth building automation system. Step 1. Automate your savings rate before you see the money. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your investment accounts the same day you get paid. This isn't budgeting. This is paying yourself first before you have a chance to spend the money on anything else. The amount should be uncomfortable, but not impossible. If you can easily afford to save $500 monthly, you should probably be saving $750. The slight discomfort forces you to optimize your expenses and find additional income sources. Step 2. Automate your investment strategy. Don't manually pick stocks or try to time the market. Set up automatic investing in predetermined assets based on your strategy. This could be index funds, real estate investment trusts, or automatic purchase of specific stocks. The key is removing emotion and timing from your investment decisions. Markets go up and down, but your automatic investing continues regardless of market conditions. This is called dollar cost averaging, and it's one of the most powerful wealth building strategies ever created. Step 3. Automate your expense control. Set up automatic bill payments for all fixed expenses. This prevents late fees and makes your spending predictable. More importantly, it forces you to live on whatever's left after automatic savings and bill payments. Most people try to save whatever's left after expenses. The wealthy reverse this. They save first, pay bills second, and live on whatever remains. This forces lifestyle optimization rather than savings optimization. Step 4. Automate your income optimization. Set up systems that automatically increase your income over time. This could mean automatic annual salary negotiations, systematic skill development, or automated business processes that generate income without your direct involvement. The wealthy don't just work harder for more money. They build systems that automatically increase their earning capacity over time. But automation is just the foundation. The real power comes from the elimination strategy. Most people try to budget their way to wealth. They track every expense, categorize their spending, and try to optimize their budget. This is amateur hour. The wealthy don't budget, they eliminate. Here's the difference. Budgeting tries to control spending. Elimination removes the possibility of spending on wealth-destroying activities. Instead of budgeting $200 monthly for restaurants, eliminate restaurant spending except for special occasions. Instead of budgeting $100 monthly for entertainment subscriptions, eliminate all but one essential service. Instead of budgeting $300 monthly for clothes, eliminate shopping except for necessary replacements. This isn't about living like a monk. It's about being intentional with every dollar. Every dollar you spend on lifestyle is a dollar that can't generate wealth for you. Let me show you the real cost of small expenses that destroy wealth building. A $5 daily coffee habit costs $1,825 annually. If you invested that money at 10% annual returns for 30 years, you'd have $300,000. Your daily coffee is actually costing you $300,000 in lifetime wealth. A $50 monthly gym membership you don't use costs $600 annually. Invested at 10% for 30 years, that's $98,000 in lifetime wealth. A $200 monthly car payment instead of driving a paid-off car costs $2,400 annually. Invested at 10% for 30 years, that's $393,000 in lifetime wealth. These aren't just monthly expenses, they're wealth destroyers. Every recurring expense that doesn't directly contribute to your income or essential well-being is stealing from your future financial freedom. The elimination strategy means cutting ruthlessly and investing the difference. You'd rather be wealthy than comfortable. You'd rather have financial freedom than lifestyle convenience. But elimination only works if you simultaneously implement the income acceleration system. The poor focus on cutting expenses. The middle class focuses on budgeting expenses. The wealthy focus on increasing income while maintaining fixed expenses. This creates an expanding gap between income and expenses that gets automatically invested. Here's your income acceleration system. Phase 1. Optimize your current income source. If you're employed, this means becoming more valuable in your current role. Learn high-leverage skills that directly impact business results. Document your contributions in quantifiable terms. Negotiate salary increases based on value creation, not tenure or need. The goal is increasing your income by 20 to 30% within 12 months through strategic value creation. This isn't about working longer hours. It's about working on activities that generate exponentially more value. Phase 2. Develop secondary income sources. This could be freelancing your existing skills, starting a side business, or creating passive income streams. The key is building income sources that don't require trading more time for money. Examples include consulting in your area of expertise, creating digital products that sell automatically, building affiliate marketing systems, or investing in dividend-paying assets. The goal is generating an additional $1,000 to $2,000 monthly within 12 months. This completely changes your wealth building capacity. Phase 3. Build scalable income systems. This means transitioning from trading time for money to building systems that generate income without your direct involvement. This could be businesses, rental properties, royalties, or investment portfolios. The goal is building income sources that grow automatically over time and eventually replace your employment income. Most people never get past phase 1. They optimize their job income but never build additional income sources. This keeps them dependent on employment and limits their wealth building potential. The wealthy master all 3 phases simultaneously. They optimize their primary income while building secondary income sources and scalable systems. This creates multiple streams of income that compound and accelerate over time. But income acceleration only works if you implement the investment automation matrix. Most people invest randomly. They put money in their 401k, maybe buy some stocks, and hope for the best. This is financial amateur hour. The wealthy use systematic investment strategies that optimize for returns, taxes, and liquidity simultaneously. Here's your investment automation matrix. Tier 1. Tax-advantaged retirement accounts. Maximize contributions to 401k, IRA, and other tax-advantaged accounts. This isn't because these are the best investments, but because the tax benefits create immediate returns. A $6,000 contribution to a traditional IRA might save you $1,500 in taxes if you're in the 25% tax bracket. That's an immediate 25% return before any investment growth. But don't just contribute to these accounts, optimize the investments within them. Most people leave their 401k money in low-return bond funds or conservative allocation funds. Aggressive growth investments belong in tax-advantaged accounts because you won't pay taxes on the growth until withdrawal. Tier 2. Taxable investment accounts. This is where you build wealth beyond retirement account limits. Focus on tax-efficient investments like index funds, growth stocks that don't pay dividends, and assets that qualify for long-term capital gains treatment. The goal is building a substantial taxable investment portfolio that can provide income and liquidity before retirement age. Retirement accounts are locked up until age 59.5, but taxable accounts provide flexibility for earlier financial independence. Tier 3. Alternative investments. This includes real estate, business ownership, peer-to-peer lending, cryptocurrency, commodities, and other non-traditional assets. These typically offer higher returns, but require more knowledge and active management. The wealthy typically have 30 to 50% of their wealth in alternative investments because they offer higher returns and diversification from traditional stock and bond markets. Tier 4. Speculative investments. This is play money invested in high-risk, high-reward opportunities. Individual stocks, startup investments, cryptocurrency speculation, or other aggressive strategies belong here. This should never be more than 5 to 10% of your total investment portfolio, but it provides exposure to potential exponential returns that can accelerate wealth building dramatically. The key is systematically building all 4 tiers simultaneously rather than focusing on just one. Most people put everything in Tier 1 retirement accounts and wonder why their wealth building is slow. But here's the automation secret that separates the wealthy from everyone else. They use automatic rebalancing and tax loss harvesting to optimize their returns continuously. Automatic rebalancing means selling investments that have performed well and buying investments that have underperformed to maintain your target allocation. This forces you to buy low and sell high automatically. Tax loss harvesting means selling investments that have declined in value to generate tax losses that offset gains from successful investments. This reduces your tax liability and increases your after-tax returns. These strategies can add 1 to 2% annually to your investment returns, which compounds to hundreds of thousands of dollars over decades, yet most people never implement them because they seem complex or they try to manage everything manually. The wealthy automate these strategies through sophisticated investment platforms or financial advisors who handle the optimization automatically. Now let me show you the tracking and optimization system that ensures your wealth building stays on track and accelerates over time. The wealthy don't just invest and hope for the best. They track specific metrics that predict long-term wealth building success and make adjustments based on data, not emotions. Here are the 5 metrics that predict wealth building success. Metric 1. Savings rate. This is the percentage of your income that gets invested rather than spent on lifestyle. The wealthy typically maintain savings rates of 30 to 50%, while most people save less than 10%. Your savings rate is the single biggest predictor of how quickly you'll achieve financial independence. If you save 50% of your income, you can retire in 17 years. If you save 10%, you'll need 51 years. Track your savings rate monthly and optimize it constantly. Every 1% increase in savings rate reduces your time to financial independence by approximately 1 year. Metric 2. Investment return rate. This is the annual return you're generating on your investments after fees and taxes. The wealthy typically target 12 to 15% annual returns through strategic asset allocation and alternative investments. Most people don't know their actual investment returns because they don't track them systematically. They might think they're doing well because their account balance is growing, but they're not calculating their actual percentage returns. Track your returns monthly and compare them to relevant benchmarks. If you're consistently underperforming, you need to optimize your investment strategy. Metric 3. Net worth growth rate. This is how fast your total wealth is increasing. The wealthy typically see net worth growth of 20 to 30% annually during their accumulation phase through high savings rates and strong investment returns. Calculate your net worth monthly and track the growth rate. This metric combines your savings rate and investment returns into one number that shows your overall wealth building velocity. Metric 4. Cash flow from investments. This is how much monthly income your investments generate without touching the principal. The wealthy focus on building investments that provide cash flow, not just appreciation. Track your investment cash flow monthly and reinvest it systematically. The goal is building enough investment cash flow to cover all your living expenses, which is the definition of financial independence. Metric 5. Time to financial independence. This is how many years until your investment cash flow equals your living expenses. Based on your current savings rate and investment returns, you can calculate exactly when you'll achieve financial independence. The wealthy use this metric to make strategic decisions about career changes, lifestyle optimization, and investment strategies. They know exactly when they'll have enough wealth to make work optional. Track this metric monthly and optimize your strategy to reduce the timeline constantly. Every improvement in savings rate or investment returns dramatically reduces your time to financial independence. But tracking metrics is worthless without the optimization mindset. The wealthy constantly experiment with new strategies, test different approaches, and optimize their systems based on results. They treat wealth building like a business. Measure everything, test improvements, scale what works, and eliminate what doesn't. They never get emotionally attached to specific strategies if better options become available. This brings us to the final component of wealth building systems: environmental design. Your environment is either supporting your wealth building or sabotaging it. The wealthy design their physical, social, and information environments to automatically support their financial goals. Physical environment design means removing temptations and adding wealth-building cues. This could mean deleting shopping apps from your phone, unsubscribing from retailer email lists, or setting up a dedicated space for financial planning and investment research. Social environment design means surrounding yourself with people who support your wealth-building goals. The people you spend time with will either encourage your financial discipline or undermine it through lifestyle pressure and consumption messaging. Information environment design means consuming content that reinforces wealth-building principles rather than consumption messaging. This means reading financial books instead of lifestyle magazines, listening to investment podcasts instead of entertainment shows, and following wealthy mentors instead of lifestyle influencers. Your environment shapes your decisions automatically. If your environment is optimized for wealth building, you'll make wealth building decisions without conscious effort. If your environment is optimized for consumption, you'll make spending decisions without realizing it. The wealthy understand this and design every aspect of their environment to support their financial goals automatically. But even the best systems are worthless if you don't understand the psychological forces that either accelerate wealth building or destroy it completely. The biggest enemy of wealth building isn't market crashes or economic recessions, it's your own mind. And that's exactly what we need to address next. Chapter 5. The Psychology of Wealth. Here's the truth that will shock you. The biggest obstacle to building wealth isn't lack of money, lack of opportunities, or even lack of knowledge. It's the invisible programming in your subconscious mind that's designed to keep you broke. Right now, as you're listening to this, your subconscious mind is running financial programs that were installed when you were a child. These programs control every financial decision you make, and for 99% of people, these programs guarantee financial failure. If your parents struggled with money, you probably have subconscious programs that say, money is hard to come by, or rich people are greedy. If you grew up hearing, money doesn't grow on trees, or we can't afford that, your subconscious learned that scarcity is normal and abundance is impossible. These aren't conscious beliefs you can simply decide to change. They're deep psychological programs that operate below your awareness, sabotaging your wealth-building efforts even when you consciously want to succeed. Let me prove this to you. Have you ever had more money than usual? Maybe from a bonus or tax refund, and somehow found a way to spend it all? Have you ever been close to a financial breakthrough, then suddenly made a series of bad decisions that reset your progress? Have you ever felt guilty or uncomfortable when you have significantly more money than people around you? These are your subconscious wealth programs in action. They're designed to keep you at your financial comfort level, which was programmed during childhood based on your family's financial situation and beliefs about money. The wealthy understand this psychological reality and actively reprogram their subconscious minds for wealth building. They don't just learn investment strategies, they rewire their entire relationship with money at the deepest psychological level. Here's how to identify and destroy the limiting beliefs that are sabotaging your wealth building right now. The first step is awareness. You need to identify the specific beliefs and programs that are running your financial life. Most people have never done this consciously, which is why they keep repeating the same financial patterns year after year. Ask yourself these questions and write down the first answers that come to mind without filtering or editing. What do I really believe about wealthy people? Are they lucky, greedy, corrupt, or deserving? What do I believe about money itself? Is it evil, scarce, difficult to earn, or easy to lose? What do I believe about my own worthiness for wealth? Do I deserve financial abundance, or should I be satisfied with enough? What do I believe about the relationship between money and happiness? Does money corrupt people, or does it amplify who they already are? What do I believe about work and money? Is money only earned through hard work, or can it be generated through systems and investments? Your immediate, unfiltered answers reveal your subconscious programming. These beliefs control your financial behavior more than any conscious strategy or plan. Most people have devastating beliefs like, money is the root of all evil. This programs your subconscious to reject wealth as morally wrong. Rich people are greedy and selfish. This creates internal conflict about becoming wealthy yourself. Money doesn't buy happiness. This programs your subconscious to prioritize everything except wealth building. I don't deserve to be wealthy. This creates subconscious self-sabotage whenever you start building wealth. Making money requires sacrificing your values. This creates resistance to wealth-building activities. Every one of these beliefs guarantees financial failure because your subconscious will sabotage any conscious effort to build wealth that conflicts with these deep programs. But here's the powerful truth. These beliefs aren't facts. They're just mental programs that can be changed. The wealthy have different mental programs that automatically support wealth building. Money is a tool that amplifies your ability to contribute value. Wealthy people become wealthy by solving problems and creating value for others. Money provides freedom, security, and the ability to help others. I deserve abundance because I create value and help others succeed. Building wealth allows me to live according to my highest values and make a bigger impact. These wealth-building beliefs create psychological alignment between your conscious goals and subconscious programming. When your subconscious supports your wealth-building efforts, instead of sabotaging them, everything changes. But changing beliefs requires more than just positive thinking or affirmations. You need to reprogram your subconscious mind using the same mechanisms that installed the limiting beliefs in the first place. Here's the subconscious reprogramming system that wealthy people use to install millionaire mindset programming. Step 1. Evidence collection. Your subconscious believes what it sees repeatedly. Find examples of wealthy people who contradict your limiting beliefs about money. Study billionaires who are philanthropists, entrepreneurs who built wealth by solving important problems, investors who create value for everyone involved in their transactions. The goal is flooding your subconscious with evidence that contradicts your limiting beliefs and supports your new wealth-building beliefs. Step 2. Identity shift. Stop thinking of yourself as someone who struggles with money and start thinking of yourself as someone who builds wealth. This isn't fake it until you make it. This is recognizing that your identity shapes your behavior. If you see yourself as bad with money, you'll make decisions that confirm this identity. If you see yourself as someone who builds wealth systematically, you'll make different decisions that support this identity. Change your internal language. Instead of "I can't afford this yet," say, "This isn't a priority for my wealth building right now." Instead of "I'm broke," say, "I'm in the wealth building phase." Instead of "Rich people are lucky," say, "Wealthy people use different strategies than I'm currently using." Step 3. Visualization programming. Your subconscious can't distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and real experiences. Spend 10 to 15 minutes daily visualizing yourself successfully building and managing wealth. See yourself confidently making investment decisions, managing multiple income streams, and enjoying the freedom that wealth provides. Make these visualizations as detailed and emotionally engaging as possible. The key is visualizing the process of building wealth, not just the end result. See yourself systematically saving money, making smart investment decisions, and building cash-flowing assets. This programs your subconscious to recognize wealth-building activities as normal and natural. Step 4. Social environment optimization. Your subconscious is constantly being programmed by the people around you. If you spend time with people who have limiting beliefs about money, those beliefs will reinforce your own limiting programs. Start spending more time with people who have healthy relationships with money and successful wealth-building habits. This could be through books, podcasts, online communities, or local investment groups. Your social environment should reinforce your wealth-building goals, not undermine them with limitation thinking and consumption pressure. But reprogramming your subconscious is just the foundation. The wealthy also master what I call rich person daily mental diet. Every piece of information you consume is either programming your mind for wealth building or consumption. The wealthy are extremely selective about what they allow into their mental environment. Instead of reading lifestyle magazines that promote consumption, they read financial publications that discuss wealth building strategies. Instead of watching entertainment that glorifies spending, they consume educational content about business, investing, and personal development. Instead of following social media accounts that promote lifestyle inflation, they follow investors, entrepreneurs, and wealth builders who share practical strategies and mindset principles. Your mental diet shapes your financial behavior automatically. If you're constantly exposed to consumption messaging, you'll make consumption decisions. If you're constantly exposed to wealth-building content, you'll make wealth-building decisions. Audit your current mental diet honestly. What percentage of your information consumption supports wealth building versus consumption? What messages are you receiving about money, success, and financial goals? Then optimize ruthlessly. Unfollow social media accounts that promote consumption. Unsubscribe from email lists that encourage spending. Stop reading publications that focus on lifestyle rather than wealth building. Replace consumption content with wealth-building education. Read books about investing, business building, and financial strategy. Listen to podcasts featuring successful investors and entrepreneurs. Follow people who share practical wealth-building advice rather than lifestyle inspiration. This mental diet optimization compounds over time. After 6 months of consuming primarily wealth-building content, your automatic thoughts and decisions will be dramatically different. You'll naturally think about investment opportunities instead of spending opportunities. But the most important psychological shift is understanding the difference between scarcity thinking and abundance thinking. Scarcity thinking focuses on what you don't have and what you might lose. People with scarcity thinking hoard money out of fear, avoid investments because of risk, and make decisions based on protecting what they have rather than growing what they have. Abundance thinking focuses on opportunities, growth, and value creation. People with abundance thinking invest confidently because they understand that value creation generates wealth. Take calculated risks because they know that avoiding risk is the biggest risk, and make decisions based on maximizing long-term wealth rather than protecting short-term security. The difference shows up in every financial decision. Scarcity. I can't afford to lose this money in investments. Abundance. I can't afford not to invest this money for growth. Scarcity. I need to save money in case something bad happens. Abundance. I need to invest money so good things can happen. Scarcity. Rich people are lucky or corrupt. Abundance. Wealthy people understand strategies I can learn. Scarcity. There's not enough wealth to go around. Abundance. Wealth is created through value creation, and there's unlimited potential for value creation. Abundance thinking isn't naive optimism. It's strategic optimism based on understanding how wealth is actually created. Wealth comes from solving problems, creating value, and building systems that serve others. There's unlimited potential for problem solving and value creation, which means there's unlimited potential for wealth creation. The wealthy understand that wealth isn't a zero-sum game. When someone becomes wealthy by creating value, they make everyone else better off too. Every successful business creates value for customers, employees, suppliers, and investors simultaneously. This abundance understanding eliminates the guilt and resistance that sabotage most people's wealth-building efforts. Instead of feeling guilty about building wealth, you feel excited about the value you're creating and the problems you're solving. But abundance thinking only works if you combine it with intelligent risk management. The poor avoid all risk and guarantee mediocre results. The middle class takes uninformed risks and often lose money. The wealthy take calculated risks based on knowledge, preparation, and strategic thinking. Here's the wealthy person's risk assessment framework. First, they distinguish between intelligent risk and gambling. Intelligent risk involves situations where you have knowledge, preparation, and some control over outcomes. Gambling involves situations where outcomes are purely random or based on factors you can't influence. Investing in real estate after studying markets, analyzing properties, and understanding financing is intelligent risk. Buying lottery tickets or speculating on meme stocks is gambling. Second, they never risk money they can't afford to lose on any single investment. Even intelligent risks sometimes don't work out, so position sizing is crucial. The wealthy never put more than 5 to 10% of their wealth into any single speculative investment. Third, they focus on asymmetric risk-reward ratios. They look for investments where the potential upside is much larger than the potential downside. If an investment might lose 50%, but could gain 500%, and they have good reasons to believe success is more likely than failure, that's an asymmetric opportunity worth taking. Fourth, they hedge their risks through diversification and insurance. Instead of avoiding risk completely, they manage risk through spreading investments across different asset classes, geographic regions, and economic sectors. This risk management framework allows them to take advantage of wealth-building opportunities that the poor avoid out of fear, while protecting themselves from catastrophic losses that destroy wealth. The result is steady wealth accumulation with occasional acceleration from successful high-return investments. But risk management is just one component of wealthy psychology. The ultimate psychological skill is what I call delayed gratification mastery. The poor want immediate rewards and avoid immediate discomfort. The wealthy accept immediate discomfort for long-term rewards. This simple difference creates dramatically different financial outcomes over time. Every wealth-building decision involves choosing delayed gratification over immediate gratification, investing money instead of spending it on lifestyle, building businesses instead of just earning salaries, learning about finances instead of being entertained, optimizing expenses instead of buying whatever you want, working on wealth-building systems instead of relaxing. The wealthy have trained themselves to find satisfaction in delayed gratification. They get excited about compound growth, appreciate the process of building assets, and find meaning in creating long-term financial security. The poor find delayed gratification painful and seek immediate relief through spending, entertainment, and consumption. This guarantees that they'll never build significant wealth because wealth building requires consistent, delayed gratification over years or decades. But here's the secret. You can train yourself to enjoy delayed gratification by connecting it to your deepest values and most important goals. If building wealth means providing security for your family, you'll find satisfaction in making investments instead of purchases. If building wealth means having freedom to pursue meaningful work, you'll enjoy optimizing expenses instead of lifestyle inflation. If building wealth means being able to contribute to causes you care about, you'll appreciate the compound growth process. The key is connecting every wealth-building decision to something more important than immediate comfort or pleasure. When you have strong enough reasons for building wealth, delayed gratification becomes easier and eventually enjoyable. This brings us to the final psychological component, vision casting for your ideal financial life. The wealthy don't just build wealth for the sake of having money. They have clear, compelling visions of what they want their wealth to enable. This vision provides motivation during difficult periods and guidance for strategic decisions. Your financial vision should be specific, emotional, and inspiring. Instead of, "I want to be rich," create detailed pictures of what your life looks like when you achieve financial independence. What does your ideal day look like when money is no longer a limitation? Where do you live? What do you do with your time? How do you contribute to others? What problems are you solving? What experiences are you enjoying? What legacy are you creating? The more detailed and emotionally engaging your vision, the more power it has to drive your daily decisions and sustain your motivation during challenging periods. Write out your financial vision in detail and review it regularly. This programs your subconscious mind to recognize opportunities and make decisions that align with your long-term vision rather than short-term impulses. But psychology is just the foundation. To build serious wealth, you need to understand the advanced strategies that only the top 1% use. These are the wealth-building techniques that can accelerate your progress from decades to years, and they're exactly what we're covering next. Chapter 6. Advanced Wealth Strategies. Everything you've learned so far is powerful, but it's still basic-level wealth building compared to what the ultra-wealthy actually do. The strategies I'm about to share with you are what separate millionaires from multimillionaires, and they're completely unknown to 99% of people. These aren't complex financial instruments that require millions to implement. These are strategic approaches that you can start using immediately, regardless of your current wealth level. But they require a completely different way of thinking about wealth building. The first advanced strategy is business ownership and equity building. Here's the truth that will change your entire approach to wealth. You cannot build serious wealth as an employee. Employment caps your income potential and provides no equity building. The wealthy understand that true wealth comes from owning assets that appreciate and generate cash flow without your direct labor. The fastest way to build wealth is owning a business. Not working in a business, owning a business. Business ownership provides multiple wealth-building mechanisms simultaneously. Income from business operations that can exceed employment income significantly. Equity appreciation as the business grows in value over time. Tax advantages that aren't available to employees. Cash flow that can be reinvested into additional wealth-building assets. Exit value when you eventually sell the business. Let me show you the numbers that prove why business ownership accelerates wealth building. Employee path. You earn $100,000 annually, save 20%, and invest it at 10% returns. After 20 years, you have $1.2 million. Business owner path. You build a business that generates $100,000 annual profit. You reinvest 50% into growing the business and save 20% in outside investments. After 20 years, your business is worth $2 million, 20 times annual profit, plus you have $600,000 in outside investments. Total wealth, $2.6 million. That's more than double the wealth from the same starting income, but the business owner path actually offers much more upside potential. Businesses can scale exponentially in ways that employment income cannot. But here's what's even more powerful. You don't need original business ideas or huge startup capital to become a business owner. The fastest path to business ownership is buying existing businesses. There are thousands of profitable businesses for sale at any time, many requiring minimal down payments if you understand business acquisition financing. Here's how to buy a business with little or no money down. Step 1. Find businesses generating $100,000 to $500,000 annual profit in industries you understand. Step 2. Analyze the business financials to verify profitability and identify improvement opportunities. Step 3. Negotiate seller financing, where the current owner acts as the bank and you pay them over time from business cash flow. Step 4. Use SBA loans that require only 10% down payment and offer favorable terms for business acquisitions. Step 5. Structure earn-out agreements where part of the purchase price depends on future business performance. These financing strategies allow you to acquire businesses worth hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars with minimal cash investment. The business cash flow pays for the acquisition while you build equity and optimize operations. This is how people go from employee to business owner to multimillionaire in 5 to 10 years instead of 30 to 40 years through traditional employment and investing. But business ownership is just one form of equity building. Real estate equity building can be even more powerful for most people. Real estate provides 4 wealth building mechanisms simultaneously: cash flow appreciation, tax benefits, and leverage multiplication. When combined properly, these create returns that make stock market investing look amateur. Here's the advanced real estate strategy that most people never learn. Instead of buying one property and paying it off slowly, you use the BERRRRR strategy. Buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. You buy a property below market value that needs renovation. You renovate it to increase its value and rental income potential. You rent it to generate cash flow. You refinance based on the new higher value to pull out most or all of your initial investment. You repeat the process with the next property. This strategy allows you to build a portfolio of cash-flowing properties while continuously recycling your initial capital. Instead of having your money tied up in one property, you use it to acquire multiple properties over time. Here's a specific example. You buy an $80,000 property that needs $20,000 in renovations. After renovation, it's worth $120,000 and rents for $1,200 monthly. You refinance at 75% loan to value, getting a $90,000 loan. This pays off your original $80,000 purchase loan and gives you $10,000 cash back. You've now recovered most of your initial investment, but still own a cash-flowing property generating $300+ monthly after all expenses. You use the $10,000 plus additional savings to repeat the process with the next property. Within 3 to 5 years, you can build a portfolio of 10 to 20 properties generating $3,000 to $6,000 monthly passive income. This income can replace employment income and provide financial independence. But the real power comes from combining business ownership with real estate investing. The ultra-wealthy use business income to fund real estate acquisitions, then use real estate equity to fund business expansion. They create synergies between different wealth-building strategies, rather than focusing on just one approach. For example, you might use business profits to acquire rental properties, then use the equity in those properties to secure loans for business expansion or additional real estate investments. This cross-collateralization accelerates wealth building exponentially because each asset class supports the growth of others. But even more powerful than individual real estate investing is real estate syndication. Real estate syndication allows you to invest in commercial properties worth millions of dollars with investments as small as $25,000 to $50,000. You pool your money with other investors to buy apartment complexes, office buildings, or retail centers that no individual investor could afford alone. Syndication investments typically target 15 to 25% annual returns through a combination of cash flow and appreciation. These returns are much higher than individual residential real estate because commercial properties can be optimized more aggressively. The sponsors, general partners, find the deals, manage the properties, and execute the business plan. You, limited partner, provide capital and receive returns without any management responsibilities. This allows you to invest in institutional quality real estate without the time, knowledge, or capital requirements of direct ownership. But perhaps the most powerful advanced strategy is tax optimization and legal wealth protection. The wealthy legally pay much lower tax rates than employees because they understand the tax code advantages available to business owners and investors. Employees pay taxes on their income, then invest what's left. Business owners invest first, then pay taxes on what's left. This difference can save hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. Here are the specific tax strategies that wealthy people use. Strategy 1. Business entity optimization. Instead of earning employment income taxed at ordinary rates up to 37%, business owners can structure their income through entities taxed at lower rates. LLC distributions, S-corp dividends, and long-term capital gains are all taxed at lower rates than employment income. By structuring income through the right entities, you can reduce your effective tax rate from 35% to 15% or less. Strategy 2. The Augusta Rule. This allows you to rent your home to your business for up to 14 days annually without paying taxes on the rental income. If you conduct business meetings, conferences, or events at your home, your business can pay you market rate rent that's deductible to the business, but tax-free to you personally. This can generate $10,000 to $50,000 in tax-free income annually, depending on your home's rental value. Strategy 3. Depreciation and cost segregation. Real estate investors can depreciate properties over 27.5 years for residential or 39 years for commercial. But cost segregation studies allow you to depreciate components of the property much faster. Items like flooring, fixtures, and landscaping can be depreciated over 5 to 7 years instead of 27.5 years. This creates large tax deductions in early years that can offset other income. Some real estate investors generate enough depreciation to eliminate taxes on six-figure incomes completely legally. Strategy 4. 1031 exchanges. This allows real estate investors to sell properties and reinvest the proceeds in new properties without paying capital gains taxes. You can continuously upgrade your real estate portfolio while deferring all taxes indefinitely. Combined with step-up basis at death, this strategy can eliminate capital gains taxes completely if structured properly. Strategy 5. Retirement account optimization. Instead of traditional 401k contributions, wealthy people often use self-directed IRAs and solo 401ks that allow investing in real estate, businesses, and other alternative assets. You can use retirement account funds to invest in rental properties, private businesses, or syndication deals. The returns grow tax-free, Roth, or tax-deferred, traditional, just like stock investments, but the potential returns are much higher. These tax strategies can easily save 20 to 40% of your income annually. On a $200,000 income, that's $40,000 to $80,000 in tax savings that can be reinvested for wealth building. But tax optimization is just one component of wealth protection. The wealthy also use legal structures to protect their assets from potential lawsuits, creditors, and other risks. Asset protection strategies include limited liability companies to shield real estate and business assets from personal liability, trusts to protect wealth from estate taxes and provide legal separation, insurance strategies including umbrella policies and captive insurance companies, offshore structures for international diversification and additional protection layers. The goal isn't to hide assets or avoid legitimate obligations. The goal is protecting legally earned wealth from frivolous lawsuits, creditor claims, and excessive taxation. As your wealth grows, protection becomes increasingly important because you become a more attractive target for litigation and regulatory changes. But the ultimate advanced strategy is creating multiple streams of cash flow that compound and reinforce each other. The poor have one income source, their job. The middle class might have a job plus some investment income. The wealthy have multiple income streams that grow independently and support each other's growth. These income streams might include business income from companies you own, rental income from real estate properties, dividend income from stock portfolios, royalty income from intellectual property, interest income from lending or bonds, capital gains from asset appreciation. Each income stream provides diversification and compounds the others. Business income funds, real estate acquisitions. Real estate equity funds, business expansion. Investment dividends supplement other income streams. The goal is building enough total cash flow to cover all living expenses while continuing to reinvest for growth. Once your investment cash flow exceeds your expenses, you've achieved financial independence. But most people never get close to this level because they don't understand the execution and implementation systems that turn knowledge into results. And that's exactly what we need to cover next, because all the strategies in the world are worthless without proper execution. Chapter 7. The Execution Blueprint. Here's the brutal truth that destroys most people's wealth-building dreams. Knowledge without execution is worthless. You can know every strategy I've shared with you, understand every principle, and still end up broke if you don't implement systematically. The difference between people who build wealth and people who just learn about wealth building is execution. Not perfect execution, not flawless execution, but consistent, systematic, relentless execution that compounds over time. Most people suffer from what I call analysis paralysis. They spend years learning, researching, and planning, but they never actually start building wealth. They're waiting for perfect conditions, complete knowledge, or guaranteed outcomes. Meanwhile, time keeps passing and compound growth keeps slipping away. The wealthy understand that imperfect action beats perfect inaction every single time. They start with whatever knowledge and resources they have, then optimize and improve through real-world experience. You don't need to know everything before you start. You need to know enough to take the first step, then learn more as you go. The education that matters most happens through implementation, not consumption. Here's your complete 90-day wealth-building sprint that will transform your financial life faster than years of passive learning. This isn't a gentle introduction to wealth building. This is an aggressive transformation designed to create momentum, build systems, and generate results immediately. If you follow this blueprint exactly, your financial life will be unrecognizable in 90 days. Month 1. Foundation building. The first 30 days are about establishing the fundamental systems that enable everything else. Without these foundations, advanced strategies won't work. With these foundations, everything becomes easier and more effective. Days 1 through 7, Financial Reality Assessment. Calculate your exact net worth down to the dollar. Assets minus liabilities equals net worth. Most people have never done this calculation accurately, which means they're making decisions without knowing their actual financial position. Track every dollar of income and expenses for 1 full week. Don't change your spending habits. Just observe and record. You need baseline data before you can optimize. Identify your current savings rate as a percentage of income. This number predicts your wealth building velocity more than any other metric. Calculate your monthly cash flow after all essential expenses. This is the money available for wealth building and lifestyle optimization. Days 8 to 14, Automated System Setup. Open separate accounts for wealth building that are completely separated from your spending accounts. Automation only works if the money never touches accounts you use for lifestyle expenses. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to investment accounts immediately after each paycheck. Start with whatever amount feels uncomfortable, but not impossible. Automate all bill payments to eliminate late fees and make your expenses predictable and fixed. Set up automatic investing in low-cost index funds as your foundation investment strategy. This ensures your money is working immediately while you learn more advanced strategies. Days 15 to 21. Expense optimization. Audit every recurring expense and cancel anything that doesn't directly contribute to income generation or essential well-being. This includes subscriptions, memberships, and services you don't actively use. Negotiate better rates on essential services like insurance, phone plans, and utilities. Most companies will offer discounts if you ask, especially if you mention competitive offers. Eliminate or reduce the 3 biggest wealth destroyers: expensive cars, get reliable used transportation, eating out frequently, learn to cook efficiently, and lifestyle inflation. Maintain current lifestyle regardless of income increases. Calculate the opportunity cost of major expenses by determining what that money would be worth if invested for 20 to 30 years. This helps you make decisions based on long-term wealth impact rather than short-term desires. Days 22 to 30. Income optimization planning. Document your current skills, knowledge, and experience that could generate additional income outside your primary job. Research 3 potential side income sources that align with your skills and schedule. These could be freelancing, consulting, service businesses, or digital product creation. Set up systems for tracking and optimizing your performance in your primary job. Document your contributions, quantify your value creation, and prepare for salary negotiations. Create a 12-month plan for increasing your primary income by 20 to 30% through skill development, performance optimization, and strategic positioning. Month 2. Income acceleration. The second 30 days focus on increasing your income capacity while maintaining the systems you built in Month 1. More income accelerates every other wealth-building strategy. Days 31 to 37. Side income launch. Choose one side income source from your research and launch it immediately. Don't wait for perfect conditions or complete preparation. Start with whatever you can offer right now and improve through iteration. Set up basic business systems including separate banking, simple accounting, and client management. Even side income should be treated like a real business with proper systems. Price your services or products based on value delivered, not time invested. Time-based pricing caps your income potential. Value-based pricing allows unlimited income growth. Generate your first dollar of side income within 7 days, even if it's just $20. The psychological breakthrough of earning money outside your job is more valuable than the actual amount. Days 38 to 44. Primary income optimization. Schedule a performance review or salary discussion with your supervisor. Come prepared with documented contributions, quantified results, and specific requests for increased responsibility or compensation. Identify the highest leverage activities in your job that directly impact business results. Focus more time on these activities and eliminate or delegate lower value tasks. Begin learning one high-value skill that could significantly increase your earning potential. This could be sales, marketing, leadership, technology, or industry-specific expertise. Network strategically with people in higher-level positions who can provide career advancement opportunities or business referrals. Days 45 to 52. System scaling. Systematize your side income processes so they require less time per dollar generated. Create templates, workflows, and systems that allow you to serve more clients efficiently. Increase your automatic investment contributions by 25% based on your increased income from optimization and side income generation. Research potential business acquisition opportunities or partnership arrangements that could accelerate your income growth beyond what's possible through employment alone. Set up tracking systems for monitoring your progress on income growth, investment returns, and net worth accumulation. Days 53 to 60. Advanced income strategies. Explore passive income opportunities that can generate money without ongoing time investment. This could include rental properties, dividend-paying investments, or royalty-generating assets. Consider transitioning from hourly or salary-based income to equity-based or profit-sharing compensation if available in your field. Research business ownership opportunities, including franchises, existing business acquisitions, or partnership arrangements with established businesses. Create a 12-month plan for transitioning from employee mindset to business owner mindset, even if you're not ready to quit your job immediately. Month 3. Investment optimization. The final 30 days focus on optimizing your investment strategy for maximum returns while building the knowledge base for advanced wealth building techniques. Days 61 to 67. Investment strategy upgrade. Analyze your current investment returns and compare them to benchmarks. If you're underperforming, Identify specific changes needed to improve results. Research and implement one advanced investment strategy, such as real estate investment trusts, dividend growth investing, or sector-specific index funds. Open tax-advantaged accounts if you haven't already, including IRA, Roth IRA, or self-directed retirement accounts that allow alternative investments. Set up automatic rebalancing and tax loss harvesting, if available, through your investment platform. Days 68 to 74. Real estate education. Study your local real estate market, including prices, rental rates, property taxes, and appreciation trends. Real estate knowledge is essential for advanced wealth building. Attend real estate investment meetings, seminars, or online courses to understand the fundamentals of property investing. Analyze 3 potential rental properties in your area, including purchase price, renovation costs, rental income potential, and cash flow projections. Get pre-qualified for investment property financing to understand your borrowing capacity and loan requirements. Days 75 to 82. Advanced strategy research. Study tax optimization strategies relevant to your income level and wealth building goals. Consider consulting with a tax professional who specializes in wealth building. Research business ownership opportunities, including existing businesses for sale, franchise opportunities, or partnership arrangements. Learn about real estate syndication opportunities that allow investing in commercial properties with smaller capital requirements. Investigate international investment opportunities, including foreign real estate, international stock markets, or currency diversification. Days 83 to 90. System integration and planning. Review your progress over the 90-day period and quantify improvements in income, expenses, investment returns, and net worth. Integrate all systems and strategies into a comprehensive wealth building plan that can operate automatically with minimal ongoing effort. Set specific, measurable goals for the next 90 days that build on your current progress and accelerate your wealth building velocity. Create accountability systems, including progress tracking, regular reviews, and potentially working with mentors or wealth building communities. By day 90, you should have increased your income by 15 to 25% through optimization and side income generation, reduced your expenses by 10 to 20% through systematic optimization, increased your savings rate by 10 to 15 percentage points, automated your entire wealth building system so it operates without daily decisions, built foundation knowledge in real estate, business ownership, and advanced investment strategies, created momentum that makes continued wealth building feel natural and automatic. But the 90-day sprint is just the beginning. Sustainable wealth building requires tracking and optimization systems that ensure you stay on track and continue accelerating over years and decades. The wealthy don't just implement strategies once and hope for the best. They track specific metrics constantly and optimize their systems based on data and results. Here are the 5 metrics that predict long-term wealth building success. Metric 1. Monthly net worth growth rate. Calculate your net worth monthly and track the percentage growth rate. The wealthy typically see net worth growth of 2 to 5% monthly during their aggressive accumulation phase. If your net worth isn't growing at least 1% monthly, you need to optimize your income, expenses, or investment strategy. Anything less than 1% monthly growth means you're building wealth too slowly. Use net worth tracking apps or spreadsheets that automatically calculate growth rates and show trends over time. The visual feedback keeps you motivated and identifies problems quickly. Metric 2. Investment return rate. Track your actual investment returns after fees and taxes, not just account balance growth. Many people think they're doing well because their accounts are growing, but they're not calculating their actual percentage returns. Compare your returns to relevant benchmarks like the S&P 500, real estate appreciation rates, or inflation rates. If you're consistently underperforming, you need to adjust your investment strategy. The wealthy typically target 12 to 15% annual returns through diversified strategies, including stocks, real estate, and business ownership. Index fund returns of 7 to 10% are acceptable for foundations, but not sufficient for wealth acceleration. Metric 3. Active income growth rate. Track how fast your income from work is growing year over year. This includes salary increases, side income growth, and business income expansion. The wealthy typically see income growth of 20 to 50% annually during their wealth building phase through strategic career moves, business development, and multiple income streams. If your income isn't growing at least 10% annually, you're falling behind inflation and missing wealth building opportunities. Focus more energy on income acceleration strategies. Metric 4. Passive income development. Track income that doesn't require your direct time and effort. This includes rental income, dividend income, business profits from systematized operations, and royalty income. The ultimate goal is building enough passive income to cover all your living expenses, which is the definition of financial independence. Track this as both absolute dollars and as a percentage of your total expenses. Once passive income exceeds expenses, you've achieved financial freedom and can make work optional. Metric 5. Wealth building velocity. This combines all other metrics into one number that shows how quickly you're progressing toward financial independence. Calculate how many years it will take for your passive income to equal your expenses based on current savings rates and investment returns. The wealthy typically achieve financial independence in 10 to 20 years, not 40 to 50 years. If your timeline is longer than 20 years, you need to accelerate through higher income, lower expenses, or better investment returns. But tracking metrics is worthless without the optimization mindset that turns data into better results. The wealthy treat wealth building like a business. They experiment with new strategies, test different approaches, and optimize based on results rather than emotions or theories. Every quarter, they conduct a comprehensive review of their wealth building systems. What's working better than expected and should be increased? What's underperforming and should be eliminated or optimized? What new opportunities should be tested based on changing circumstances? What systems need automation or improvement to reduce time requirements? This quarterly optimization process ensures continuous improvement and prevents stagnation. Most people implement a wealth building strategy once and never optimize it, which guarantees mediocre results over time. The wealthy constantly evolve their strategies based on results, market conditions, and new opportunities. They stay ahead of changes rather than reacting to them. Chapter 8. The Relentless Wealth System. Everything we've covered so far creates the foundation for wealth building, but sustainable wealth requires something more. Daily habits and systems that operate automatically regardless of motivation, market conditions, or life circumstances. The wealthy don't rely on willpower or motivation to build wealth. They have daily systems that guarantee wealth building happens automatically, even during periods of stress, distraction, or market volatility. These aren't just financial habits. These are complete life optimization systems that ensure every aspect of their daily routine supports long-term wealth building rather than undermining it. Here's the complete daily wealth building system that separates the ultra-wealthy from everyone else. The morning wealth routine. How you start your day determines the quality of every financial decision you make. The wealthy begin each day with specific routines that prime their minds for wealth building thinking and optimal decision making. 5 a.m. Physical optimization. The wealthy prioritize physical energy because wealth building requires sustained mental performance over years or decades. They exercise first thing to optimize brain function, stress management, and decision-making capacity. This doesn't require hours at the gym. Even 20 to 30 minutes of high-intensity exercise dramatically improves cognitive performance, stress resilience, and energy levels throughout the day. Physical fitness directly impacts financial performance because it affects your ability to think clearly, handle stress, and maintain the energy required for wealth-building activities. 5:30 a.m. Mental conditioning. The wealthy spend 10 to 15 minutes daily on mental conditioning that reinforces wealth-building psychology and maintains focus on long-term goals. This includes visualization of financial goals, review of investment performance, and mental rehearsal of important financial decisions or negotiations. They also consume educational content related to wealth building, business, or investing during this time. This could be reading financial publications, listening to business podcasts, or studying successful investors and entrepreneurs. The goal is programming your subconscious mind with wealth-building content before the day's distractions and stress interfere with your thinking. 6 a.m. Strategic planning. The wealthy review their financial goals and plan their wealth-building activities for the day. This isn't just checking account balances. It's strategic thinking about opportunities, optimizations, and implementations. They ask themselves, what wealth-building activity is most important today? What investment opportunities should I research or analyze? What business development actions could increase my income? What expenses should I optimize or eliminate? What financial decisions need to be made this week? This daily planning ensures that wealth-building activities get priority over reactive tasks and busy work that doesn't contribute to long-term financial goals. 6:30 a.m. Implementation focus. The wealthy identify one high-leverage wealth-building activity that they'll complete before handling any other responsibilities. This could be researching investments, working on side income projects, or handling business development activities. They protect this time aggressively because early morning is when mental energy and focus are highest. Wealth-building activities get the best mental resources, not the leftovers after a day of other commitments. This single habit alone can accelerate wealth building dramatically because it ensures consistent progress on important activities rather than hoping to find time later in the day. The Workday Optimization System. Most people separate their wealth building activities from their work activities, treating them as completely different parts of life. The wealthy integrate wealth building thinking into every aspect of their workday. Income optimization mindset. Throughout their workday, the wealthy constantly look for opportunities to increase their value creation and income potential. They ask, how can I solve this problem in a way that demonstrates exceptional value? What skills should I develop to increase my earning potential? What relationships should I build that could create business opportunities? How can I position myself for promotion, partnership, or business ownership? Every work activity becomes an opportunity to build wealth-building capacity rather than just completing assigned tasks. Expense consciousness. The wealthy make financial decisions throughout the day based on wealth-building impact rather than just convenience or immediate preferences. They choose lunch options based on cost optimization rather than impulse. They consider the opportunity cost of business expenses. They negotiate better rates on business services and supplies. These small decisions compound over time into significant wealth-building acceleration. Network building. The wealthy use work relationships strategically to build networks that support wealth-building goals. They connect with people who can provide investment opportunities, business partnerships, or career advancement. They're generous with their knowledge and connections, understanding that helping others succeed creates reciprocal opportunities for their own wealth building. Skill development focus. The wealthy use work time strategically to develop skills that increase their long-term earning potential rather than just completing immediate tasks efficiently. They volunteer for projects that teach new skills, seek mentorship from successful people, and position themselves for opportunities that accelerate career advancement. The Evening Wealth Review. how the wealthy end their day is just as important as how they start it. The evening routine consolidates the day's progress and prepares for continued wealth building. Financial performance review. The wealthy check their investment performance, business results, and financial metrics daily. This isn't obsessive monitoring. It's staying connected to their wealth building progress and identifying opportunities or problems quickly. They track key metrics like net worth changes, investment returns, business income, and progress toward financial goals. Daily wealth building assessment. They review what wealth building activities they completed during the day and plan adjustments for tomorrow if needed. They ask, did I take concrete actions toward my financial goals today? What opportunities did I miss that I should pursue tomorrow? What financial decisions do I need to make this week? What wealth building knowledge should I learn next? Learning and education. The wealthy spend 30 to 60 minutes each evening consuming educational content related to wealth building. This could be reading investment books, studying successful businesses, or learning about new wealth building strategies. They treat financial education as their highest return investment because knowledge compounds and applies to all future wealth building activities. Next day preparation. They prepare for the next day's wealth building activities before going to sleep. This includes setting up investment research, preparing for business meetings, or organizing wealth building tasks. This preparation ensures that they start each day ready for immediate action rather than spending time figuring out what to do. The weekend wealth acceleration. While most people use weekends for rest and entertainment, the wealthy use weekends strategically for wealth building activities that aren't possible during busy workdays. Saturday morning, investment management. The wealthy spend 2 to 3 hours every Saturday managing their investment portfolios, researching new opportunities, and optimizing their asset allocation. This includes analyzing investment performance, researching new investments, rebalancing portfolios, and planning investment strategy adjustments. They also handle real estate activities like property analysis, market research, or investment property management during this time. Saturday afternoon, business development. The wealthy work on business building activities, including side income projects, business optimization, or networking activities. This could include developing new products or services, improving business systems, or building relationships that could create business opportunities. Sunday morning, financial planning. The wealthy spend time on long-term financial planning, including goal setting, strategy optimization, and progress review. They calculate net worth changes, assess progress toward financial independence, and adjust their wealth building strategy based on results and changing circumstances. Sunday afternoon, education and preparation. The wealthy use Sunday afternoons for learning activities that improve their wealth building knowledge and skills. This could include reading business books, attending online seminars, or studying successful investors and entrepreneurs. They also prepare for the upcoming week by organizing wealth building activities and setting priorities for important financial tasks. The monthly wealth optimization. Once monthly, the wealthy conduct comprehensive reviews and optimizations of their entire wealth building system. Complete financial audit. They calculate exact net worth, review all investment performance, and analyze income and expense trends. They identify what's working better than expected and what needs optimization or elimination. Strategy adjustments. Based on their monthly review, they make strategic adjustments to their wealth building approach. This could include changing investment allocation, optimizing business operations, or implementing new wealth building strategies. Goal progression analysis. They assess progress toward their financial independence goals and calculate updated timelines based on current performance. If they're behind schedule, they identify specific actions needed to accelerate progress. System improvements. They optimize their wealth building systems to make them more automatic, efficient, or effective. This could include automating more processes, eliminating unnecessary activities, or implementing new tools and systems. The quarterly wealth reviews. Every quarter, the wealthy conduct comprehensive assessments of their wealth-building progress and make major strategic adjustments if needed. Complete strategy review. They analyze whether their current wealth-building strategy is optimal for their goals and circumstances. They research new opportunities and consider major strategic changes like business ownership, real estate investing, or international diversification. Professional consultation. They meet with tax professionals, financial advisors, and other specialists to optimize their wealth-building strategy and ensure they're taking advantage of all available opportunities. Network expansion. They actively expand their networks by attending investment conferences, joining mastermind groups, or connecting with other successful wealth builders. Knowledge upgrade. They invest in advanced education, including courses, coaching, or consulting that can accelerate their wealth-building progress. The annual wealth planning. Once annually, the wealthy conduct comprehensive planning sessions that set their wealth-building direction for the entire year. Complete goal assessment and updating. They review their long-term financial goals and adjust them based on progress and changing life circumstances. They set specific, measurable goals for the upcoming year, including income targets, investment returns, and net worth growth. Strategy overhaul consideration. They consider major changes to their wealth-building strategy, including career changes, business ownership, or significant investment strategy modifications. Tax planning and optimization. They work with tax professionals to optimize their tax strategy for the upcoming year and implement any necessary changes to business structure or investment approach. Estate planning and wealth protection. They review and update their wealth protection strategies, including insurance, legal structures, and estate planning. This daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual system ensures that wealth building stays on track and accelerates over time regardless of changing circumstances or market conditions. But even the best systems are worthless without one final component: the decision to start immediately and maintain relentless consistency. And that's exactly what we need to address in our final section: the legacy and generational wealth system. But wealth building isn't just about reaching financial independence for yourself. The ultra-wealthy think in terms of generational wealth that provides security and opportunities for their families for decades or centuries. This requires a completely different approach than personal wealth building. Generational wealth must survive market crashes, economic recessions, political changes, and family transitions across multiple generations. The wealthy understand that true wealth isn't just about accumulating money. It's about building systems that generate wealth continuously over time, regardless of external circumstances. Here's how to build wealth that lasts for generations instead of just one lifetime. The first principle of generational wealth is asset diversification across time, geography, and economic systems. Instead of just diversifying across stocks, bonds, and real estate, generational wealth builders diversify across countries, currencies, political systems, and economic cycles. They own assets in multiple countries to protect against any single nation's economic or political problems. They hold wealth in multiple currencies to hedge against any single currency's devaluation. They invest in assets that perform well in different economic conditions, including inflation, deflation, recession, and boom periods. This geographic and economic diversification ensures that their wealth survives major disruptions that destroy wealth concentrated in single markets or systems. The second principle is building businesses and assets that operate independently of any individual family member. Personal wealth often dies with the person who built it because it requires their direct involvement to maintain. Generational wealth consists of systems that operate automatically and profitably without depending on any specific person's knowledge or effort. This means building businesses with professional management teams, investment portfolios managed by institutional advisors, and trust structures that ensure proper wealth management across generations. The wealthy design their wealth systems to survive and thrive, even if the original wealth builder is no longer involved. The third principle is education and preparation of the next generation. Most wealthy families lose their wealth within 3 generations because subsequent generations don't understand wealth-building principles or develop the skills needed to manage substantial assets. Generational wealth builders actively educate their children and grandchildren about money management, investment principles, business operations, and wealth preservation strategies. They provide real-world experience in managing money, making investment decisions, and building businesses, rather than just providing access to wealth without responsibility. The fourth principle is legal and tax optimization structures that minimize wealth transfer costs and maximize asset protection. Estate taxes, inheritance taxes, and legal liability can destroy substantial wealth during transfers between generations unless proper structures are established. The wealthy use trust structures, family limited partnerships, offshore entities, and other legal strategies to minimize taxes and protect assets from potential creditors or legal claims. These structures are established during the wealth-building phase, not after wealth is accumulated, because they require time to become effective and must be integrated into the overall wealth-building strategy. The advanced investment strategies for accelerated wealth. Now let me show you the specific investment strategies that the ultra-wealthy use to accelerate wealth building beyond what's possible through conventional investing. These aren't speculative or risky strategies. They're sophisticated approaches that require more knowledge and capital than basic investing, but they generate significantly higher returns with acceptable risk levels. Strategy 1. Private equity and venture capital investing. Instead of just buying publicly traded stocks, the wealthy invest directly in private companies through private equity funds or direct investments. Private equity typically targets 15 to 25% annual returns through buying undervalued companies, improving their operations, and selling them at higher valuations. Venture capital targets even higher returns by investing in early-stage companies with explosive growth potential. While individual investments are risky, diversified venture portfolios can generate 20 to 30% annual returns. These investments require higher minimum investments, $25,000 to $100,000 plus, and longer commitment periods, 5 to 10 years, but they provide access to returns that aren't available through public markets. Strategy 2. Commercial real estate syndications. Instead of buying individual rental properties, the wealthy pool money with other investors to buy commercial properties worth millions of dollars. These syndications typically target 15 to 25% annual returns through rental income and property appreciation. Professional sponsors find the deals, manage the properties, and execute business plans to maximize returns. Investors can participate with relatively small amounts, $25,000 to $50,000, while gaining access to institutional quality real estate investments that would be impossible to buy individually. Strategy 3. Alternative lending and credit investing. The wealthy lend money directly to businesses or real estate investors at higher interest rates than traditional bank investments. This could include private lending for real estate projects, 8 to 15% annual returns, business acquisition financing, 10 to 20% annual returns, or peer-to-peer lending platforms, 6 to 12% annual returns. These investments provide predictable income streams with returns significantly higher than bonds or bank accounts. Strategy 4. Commodity and precious metals investing. The wealthy include physical commodities and precious metals in their portfolios as inflation hedges and portfolio diversification. This could include physical gold and silver, commodity futures, farmland, timber, or energy investments. These assets often perform well when stocks and bonds perform poorly, providing portfolio balance. Strategy 5. International and emerging market investing. Instead of limiting investments to domestic markets, the wealthy invest globally to capture higher growth rates in emerging economies. This could include international real estate, foreign stock markets, emerging market bonds, or direct business investments in high-growth countries. While these investments involve additional risks, they also provide access to much higher growth rates than mature domestic markets. The Tax Optimization Mastery System. The wealthy legally pay much lower effective tax rates than high-income employees because they understand advanced tax strategies that aren't available to typical wage earners. These strategies can save hundreds of thousands of dollars annually for high-income wealth builders, money that can be reinvested to accelerate wealth building dramatically. Here are the specific advanced tax strategies that separate the wealthy from high-income earners who still pay high tax rates. Advanced strategy. 1. Business structure optimization for tax efficiency. Instead of earning all income as wages taxed at ordinary rates, the wealthy structure their income through business entities that provide significant tax advantages. S-corporation election allows business owners to pay themselves reasonable salaries, subject to employment taxes, then take additional profits as distributions that aren't subject to employment taxes. This can save 15.3% on substantial income amounts. LLC structures provide flexibility for tax planning, including the ability to allocate income and losses among partners in ways that optimize overall tax efficiency. Multiple entity structures allow the wealthy to separate different business activities and optimize tax treatment for each type of income. Advanced Strategy 2. Accelerated depreciation and cost segregation. Real estate investors can use cost segregation studies to depreciate property components over much shorter periods than the standard 27.5 or 39 years. Components like flooring, fixtures, landscaping, and equipment can be depreciated over 5 to 7 years instead of decades, creating large tax deductions that can offset other income. Bonus depreciation rules allow 100% first-year depreciation on certain property improvements and equipment purchases, creating immediate tax savings. These strategies can generate enough depreciation to eliminate taxes on six-figure incomes completely legally. Advanced Strategy 3. Retirement account leverage and optimization. Self-directed IRAs and solo 401ks allow investing retirement account funds in real estate, private businesses, and other alternative investments that can generate much higher returns than traditional stock and bond investments. Mega backdoor Roth conversions allow high-income earners to contribute much more than normal limits to Roth accounts, creating substantial tax-free growth opportunities. Defined benefit plans allow business owners to contribute much larger amounts annually to retirement accounts compared to traditional 401k limits. Advanced Strategy 4. International tax planning and optimization. The wealthy use international structures to optimize their global tax position while remaining compliant with all applicable laws. This could include establishing tax residency in low-tax jurisdictions, using international business structures to optimize worldwide tax efficiency, or investing through international entities that provide legitimate tax advantages. Foreign earned income exclusions, tax treaty benefits, and international investment structures can significantly reduce overall tax liabilities for qualifying situations. Advanced Strategy 5. Charitable strategies that provide tax benefits while building wealth. Donor-advised funds allow the wealthy to take immediate tax deductions for charitable contributions while maintaining control over when and where the money is ultimately distributed. Charitable remainder trusts allow the wealthy to sell appreciated assets without paying capital gains taxes while generating income streams and tax deductions. Private foundations provide tax deductions, estate planning benefits, and opportunities to involve family members in philanthropic activities while maintaining some control over contributed assets. The wealth protection and risk management system. As wealth grows, protection becomes increasingly important because larger wealth creates larger targets for litigation, regulatory changes, and economic disruptions. The wealthy don't just focus on building wealth, they focus equally on protecting and preserving wealth through sophisticated risk management strategies. Asset Protection Strategy 1. Legal entity structures for liability protection. Limited liability companies and corporations provide legal separation between personal assets and business liabilities. Properly structured entities can protect personal wealth from business-related lawsuits or creditor claims. Multiple entity structures can provide additional protection by separating different types of assets and activities into different entities, limiting exposure from any single source of liability. Advanced structures like series LLCs or offshore entities can provide additional protection layers for substantial wealth, though these require careful legal and tax planning. Asset Protection Strategy 2. Insurance optimization for wealth protection. Umbrella liability insurance provides additional protection beyond standard homeowners and auto insurance limits. For wealthy individuals, umbrella policies with $5 to $10 million in coverage are essential protection against catastrophic liability claims. Professional liability insurance protects against claims related to professional activities, while directors and officers insurance protects business owners from management-related liability. Life and disability insurance protect against loss of income earning capacity, while long-term care insurance protects against healthcare costs that could destroy accumulated wealth. Asset Protection Strategy 3. Geographic diversification for political and economic protection. International bank accounts and investment accounts provide protection against domestic political instability, currency devaluation, or banking system problems. Foreign real estate provides geographic diversification and potential residency options in stable countries with favorable economic and political systems. International business structures can provide additional protection layers while maintaining compliance with all applicable tax and reporting requirements. Asset Protection Strategy 4. Trust structures for estate planning and asset protection. Revocable trusts provide privacy and avoid probate while maintaining control during lifetime. Irrevocable trusts can provide asset protection and estate tax benefits by removing assets from the grantor's taxable estate. Asset protection trusts, either domestic or offshore, can provide protection from creditors while maintaining some access to trust assets under certain circumstances. Dynasty trusts can provide wealth transfer benefits across multiple generations while minimizing estate taxes and providing ongoing asset protection. The continuous education and network building system. The wealthy understand that their most important investment is in their own knowledge and professional relationships. They spend substantial time and money on continuing education and network building because these investments compound over their entire lifetime. Education Investment Strategy 1. High-level business and investment education. The wealthy regularly attend advanced seminars, conferences, and courses related to wealth building, business development, and investment strategies. They join mastermind groups and peer learning organizations where they can learn from other successful wealth builders and share strategies and opportunities. They hire personal coaches, mentors, and advisors who can provide specialized knowledge and guidance for their specific wealth building goals. Education Investment Strategy 2. Industry and market expertise development. The wealthy develop deep expertise in the industries and markets where they invest their time and money. This could include real estate market analysis, business industry trends, stock market sectors, or alternative investment categories. Deep expertise allows them to identify opportunities that others miss and avoid risks that others don't recognize. Network building strategy. 1. Strategic relationship development. The wealthy actively build relationships with other successful investors, business owners, and professionals who can provide opportunities, partnerships, or specialized expertise. They attend industry conferences, join investment clubs, and participate in business organizations where they can meet and build relationships with like-minded wealth builders. They're generous with their own knowledge and opportunities, understanding that helping others succeed creates reciprocal opportunities for their own advancement. Network building strategy. 2. Professional team assembly. The wealthy build teams of professionals including tax advisors, legal counsel, financial advisors, and business consultants who specialize in wealth building and protection. They understand that the cost of professional advice is insignificant compared to the value of proper wealth building and protection strategies. They regularly review and upgrade their professional teams to ensure they have access to the best available expertise for their current wealth level and goals. The ultimate wealth building mindset and philosophy. Everything we've covered provides the strategies, systems, and tactics for building wealth faster than 99% of people. But the ultimate foundation is the mindset and philosophy that drives consistent implementation over years and decades. The wealthy think differently about time, money, risk, and success than everyone else. These mental frameworks enable them to make decisions and take actions that compound into extraordinary wealth over time. Wealth building mindset. 1. Long-term thinking over short-term gratification. The wealthy make every decision based on long-term wealth building impact rather than short-term comfort or pleasure. They're willing to sacrifice immediate gratification for exponential long-term gains. This applies to spending decisions, investment choices, career moves, and lifestyle choices. They understand that wealth building requires years or decades of consistent action, and they're willing to maintain that consistency regardless of short-term market conditions or life circumstances. Wealth building mindset. 2. Value creation focus over money extraction. The wealthy understand that lasting wealth comes from creating value for others, not from extracting money from others. They focus on solving problems, meeting needs, and improving situations for customers, clients, tenants, or business partners. This value creation mindset ensures that their wealth-building activities generate win-win outcomes that are sustainable and scalable over time. Wealth-building mindset. 3. System building over individual performance. The wealthy focus on building systems that generate wealth automatically rather than depending on their individual performance or effort for every dollar earned. They understand that personal effort doesn't scale, but systems can scale indefinitely. They invest time and money in building systems that work without their constant involvement. This allows them to multiply their wealth building capacity far beyond what's possible through individual effort alone. Wealth building mindset. 4. Calculated risk taking over false security. The wealthy understand that avoiding all risk guarantees mediocre results, while taking calculated risks based on knowledge and preparation can generate extraordinary returns. They don't avoid risk. They manage and optimize risk to maximize returns while protecting against catastrophic losses. They understand that the biggest risk is not taking enough risk to build real wealth, because inflation and opportunity costs guarantee that safe strategies result in gradual wealth destruction. Wealth building mindset. 5. Continuous optimization over set and forget approaches. The wealthy constantly optimize and improve their wealth building strategies based on results, market conditions, and new opportunities. They treat wealth building like a business that requires constant attention, optimization, and improvement, rather than a passive activity that can be automated completely. They regularly review and adjust their strategies, eliminate what's not working, and test new approaches that could accelerate their progress. Now you understand exactly how the top 1% build wealth faster than everyone else. You have the strategies, systems, psychology, and implementation blueprint that can transform your financial life in months rather than decades. But understanding these principles is worthless without immediate action. Every day you delay implementing these strategies costs you thousands of dollars in future wealth due to compound growth and opportunity costs. The difference between financial freedom and working until you die is determined by the actions you take in the next 24 hours, not the knowledge you accumulate over the next 24 months. You have everything you need to start building wealth immediately. The question is, will you start today? Or will you join the 99% who know what to do but never actually do it? Your financial future is determined by your next decision. Choose wisely. The 24-Hour Wealth Transformation Challenge. Right now, you're at the most important moment in your financial life. You have just learned wealth-building strategies that most people will never understand. You know more about building wealth than 95% of the population. But here's the brutal truth. Knowledge without action is worthless. In fact, it's worse than worthless because it creates the illusion of progress while you actually stay stuck in the same financial position. You're about to face the same choice that separates the wealthy from everyone else. It's not about intelligence, luck, or starting capital. It's about what you do in the next 24 hours. Champions act immediately. Average people wait until conditions are perfect. Losers make excuses and delay indefinitely. Which category will you choose? The next 24 hours will determine whether you join the 1% who build wealth systematically or the 99% who dream about financial freedom but never achieve it. Here's your 24-hour wealth transformation challenge that will separate you from everyone else who just consumes financial information without implementing it. Hour 1. Complete Financial Reality Assessment. Right now, before you do anything else, calculate your exact net worth down to the dollar. Assets minus liabilities equals net worth. Write down every asset you own and its current value. Bank accounts, investments, real estate, vehicles, everything. Then write down every debt you owe. Credit cards, student loans, mortgages, car loans, everything. Subtract your total liabilities from your total assets. This number is your current net worth, and it's the baseline for measuring your wealth-building progress. Most people have never done this calculation accurately. They make financial decisions without knowing their actual position. This ignorance guarantees continued financial mediocrity. Hour 2. Calculate your current wealth-building velocity. Based on your current savings rate and investment returns, calculate exactly how many years it will take to reach financial independence. If you're saving $500 monthly at 7% annual returns, you'll have $1.37 million in 30 years. That generates about $96,000 in annual income, which might not be enough for financial independence. If you're saving $1,000 monthly at 12% annual returns, you'll have $2.89 million in 30 years, generating about $347,000 in annual income. Calculate your current timeline to financial independence. If it's longer than 20 years, you need to accelerate dramatically through higher savings rates, better returns, or increased income. Hour 3. Identify your biggest wealth-building obstacle. Based on everything you've learned, identify the single biggest factor that's preventing you from building wealth faster. Is it low income that limits your savings capacity? Is it high expenses that consume your income? Is it poor investment returns that slow your growth? Is it lack of knowledge about advanced strategies? Is it psychological resistance to wealth-building activities? Be brutally honest about your biggest limitation. You can't fix what you don't acknowledge. Hour 4. Choose your primary wealth-building strategy. Based on your current situation, choose one primary wealth-building strategy that you'll implement immediately. If you have stable income but low savings, focus on expense optimization and automated investing. If you have high savings but poor returns, Focus on investment strategy improvement and alternative investments. If you have low income, focus on income acceleration through side businesses or career optimization. If you have knowledge but lack implementation, focus on building systems that automate your wealth building. Don't try to implement everything at once. Choose one strategy and execute it perfectly before adding complexity. Hour 5. Take your first wealth building action. Take one concrete action toward your chosen strategy within the next hour. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. If you chose expense optimization, cancel one recurring expense that doesn't contribute to your wealth building goals. If you chose investment improvement, open a new investment account or research one specific investment opportunity. If you chose income acceleration, send one email or make one phone call related to increasing your income. If you chose system building, set up one automatic transfer or investment that will operate without your ongoing involvement. The specific action matters less than taking action immediately. Breaking the pattern of analysis without implementation is crucial for joining the wealth building minority. Hours 6 to 12. Implement your first wealth building system. Use the next 6 hours to implement one complete wealth building system that will operate automatically. This could be setting up automatic transfers from your checking account to investment accounts, opening and funding a high-yield savings account or investment account, researching and purchasing your first investment in stocks, bonds, or real estate, creating a basic budget and expense tracking system, setting up automatic bill payments to optimize your cash flow, researching side income opportunities, and taking the first step toward implementation. The goal is creating one system that improves your financial position automatically without requiring daily decisions or motivation. Hours 13 to 24. Plan your 30-day wealth building sprint. Use the remaining time to plan specific actions you'll take over the next 30 days to accelerate your wealth building. Set specific, measurable goals for the next 30 days. How much will you save and invest? What will you do to increase your income? What expenses will you optimize or eliminate? What new wealth building knowledge will you acquire? What systems will you implement or improve? Create a daily action plan that ensures you make progress towards your wealth building goals every single day for the next 30 days. Schedule specific times for wealth building activities so they get priority over reactive tasks and entertainment. The 30-day wealth building acceleration system. Your 24-hour challenge was just the beginning. Real wealth building requires consistent action over months and years, not just initial motivation. Here's your 30-day system that will create momentum and establish wealth building as a permanent part of your life. Days 1 through 7, Foundation Building Week. Implement all basic wealth building systems, including automated savings, investment accounts, expense tracking, and goal setting. Complete your first week of consistent wealth building actions, including daily financial education and implementation activities. Calculate your baseline metrics, including savings rate, investment returns, and net worth growth rate. Days 8 to 14, Optimization Week. Optimize your existing systems based on the first week's results and identify areas for improvement. Implement one advanced strategy, such as tax optimization, alternative investments, or income acceleration. Begin building your financial education routine, including daily reading, podcast listening, or video learning. Days 15 to 21, Acceleration Week. Add one new wealth building activity such as side income generation, real estate research, or business development. Optimize your time management to ensure wealth building activities get priority over entertainment and non-essential activities. Connect with other wealth builders through online communities, local investment groups, or networking events. Days 22 to 30, System Integration Week. Integrate all your wealth building activities into a sustainable daily routine that can continue long-term. Review your progress and adjust your strategies based on results and changing circumstances. Plan your next 30-day cycle with more aggressive goals based on your increased knowledge and momentum. The Annual Wealth Building Progression System. 30 days of consistent action will create momentum, but building serious wealth requires thinking in terms of years and decades, not just months. Here's how to structure your wealth building progression over the next several years. Year 1. Foundation and acceleration. Focus on building fundamental systems, optimizing basic strategies, and creating consistent momentum. Target goals: 20% savings rate, 10% investment returns, 20% income increase, $50,000 net worth growth. Year 2. Optimization and diversification. Optimize existing systems, add advanced strategies, and diversify across multiple wealth-building approaches. Target goals: 30% savings rate, 12% investment returns, 30% income increase, $100,000 net worth growth. Year 3. Advanced implementation. Implement advanced strategies including real estate investing, business ownership, or alternative investments. Target goals: 40% savings rate, 15% investment returns, 50% income increase, $200,000 net worth growth. Year 4 to 5. Acceleration and scaling. Scale successful strategies, eliminate underperforming approaches, and accelerate toward financial independence. Target goals: 50% savings rate, 18% investment returns, 100% income increase, $500,000 plus net worth growth. Year 6 to 10. Financial independence achievement. Continue optimizing and scaling until investment income equals or exceeds living expenses. Target goals: financial independence, passive income exceeding expenses, millionaire net worth. This progression assumes consistent implementation and optimization. Most people who follow this system achieve financial independence in 10 to 15 years instead of the 40 to 50 years required by conventional financial advice. The Wealth Building Accountability System. Even the best strategies fail without accountability systems that ensure consistent implementation over time. Here's how to create accountability that guarantees your wealth building success. Personal accountability systems. Track your progress daily using apps, spreadsheets, or journals that show your wealth building velocity. Review your goals weekly and adjust your actions based on results and changing circumstances. Celebrate small wins to maintain motivation and momentum during challenging periods. Share your goals with family and friends who will support your wealth building efforts and hold you accountable for consistent action. Professional accountability systems. Consider working with financial advisors, coaches, or mentors who specialize in wealth building and can provide guidance and accountability. Join investment clubs, mastermind groups, or online communities where you can share progress and learn from others. Hire professionals, including tax advisors, legal counsel, and financial planners who can help optimize your strategies and ensure proper implementation. Environmental accountability systems. Design your physical environment to support wealth building by removing temptations and adding wealth building cues. Optimize your information environment by consuming content that reinforces wealth building principles rather than consumption messaging. Surround yourself with people who support your financial goals rather than undermining them through lifestyle pressure and spending encouragement. The ultimate wealth building commitment. Everything you've learned provides the knowledge and systems needed to build wealth faster than 99% of people, but knowledge and systems are worthless without the commitment to implement them consistently over time. Wealth building isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a systematic process that requires consistent action over years or decades. Most people quit during the first year because they don't see immediate dramatic results. The wealthy understand that wealth building is like physical fitness. You don't get in shape by working out once, and you don't build wealth by making one good financial decision. You build both through consistent, daily actions that compound over time. Your commitment to wealth building must be stronger than your desire for immediate gratification. It must be stronger than social pressure to spend money on lifestyle. It must be stronger than market volatility and economic uncertainty. The wealthy maintain their commitment during bull markets and bear markets, during recessions and boom periods, during personal successes and failures. They understand that consistency over time is more powerful than perfection in any single moment. Here's your ultimate wealth-building commitment. I commit to implementing wealth-building strategies consistently for the next 10 years, regardless of market conditions, personal circumstances, or temporary setbacks. I commit to saving and investing at least 20% of my income every year, increasing this percentage as my income grows. I commit to continuously educating myself about wealth-building strategies and implementing new knowledge systematically. I commit to optimizing my systems regularly based on results and changing circumstances. I commit to maintaining this discipline even when it's difficult, inconvenient, or socially unpopular. I understand that wealth building requires sacrifice, discipline, and long-term thinking that most people aren't willing to maintain. I choose to join the 1% who build wealth systematically rather than the 99% who dream about financial freedom but never achieve it. Your financial future starts right now. You now have everything you need to build wealth faster than 99% of people. You understand the strategies, systems, psychologies, and implementation blueprint that can transform your financial life. But understanding these principles is worthless without immediate action. Every day you delay implementing these strategies costs you thousands of dollars in future wealth due to compound growth and opportunity costs. The difference between financial freedom and working until you die is determined by the actions you take in the next 24 hours, not the knowledge you accumulate over the next 24 months. Most people who listen to this will feel motivated temporarily, then return to their old financial habits within a week. They'll continue consuming financial education without implementing it, staying stuck in the same financial position year after year. Don't be most people. Champions act immediately when they recognize opportunity. They don't wait for perfect conditions, complete knowledge, or guaranteed outcomes. They start with what they know and improve through experience. The wealthy understand that time is their most valuable asset in wealth building. They can always earn more money, but they can never recover lost time. Every month you delay is a month of compound growth that's gone forever. Your 20-year-old self would be amazed at the wealth-building opportunities available to you right now. Your 60-year-old self will either thank you for taking action today or regret that you waited for better conditions that never came. The choice is yours, but you have to make it right now. Will you join the 1% who build wealth systematically? Or will you remain with the 99% who dream about financial freedom but never achieve it? Will you start implementing these strategies today? Or will you add this to your collection of financial knowledge that you never actually use? Will you commit to the discipline and consistency required for wealth building? Or will you continue making excuses for why you can't start yet? Your financial future is determined by your next decision. The 1% are waiting for you to join them. The question is, are you ready to do what it takes? Your wealth building journey starts now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when conditions are perfect. Right now. Take action immediately. Your future self depends on it. The time for learning is over. The time for building wealth is now. Start today. Start this hour. Start this moment. Your financial transformation begins with your next decision. Choose wealth. Choose freedom. Choose action. The 1% are waiting for you. Welcome to your new financial life.